Adventure time, come on, grab your friends. We'll go to very distant lands with Sauce and Slug and Moxie too. The fun will never end. It's movies, monsters, and music. Oh, and some Jack and Coke.
It's like that cat that's like white and throwing up, and he's like, there you go.
Are you talking about memes again? Do you speak in language that people understand, like in words? Is everything memes with you people? God.
You people?
Whoa. No, let's get the facts straight.
You people?
I mean, like, whoa. Don't put me on
You
Twitter.
hate black people.
Don't put me on Twitter. Don't put me on. I hate everybody. I hate everybody equally.
You said that we should bring back.
Okay, before I get doxxed on Twitter and completely canceled, welcome back to the Den of Sin. Unfortunately for you, I'm your host, Chandler Allen Berry, and with me is my very confident and capable drug dealer.
No, that's not who I am. That's not who I am.
My business partner.
You'd say friend, bass player,
mandolin player, a Renaissance man, all of the above.
Thank
Slug.
you. Just not your drug dealer. Jesus Christ.
Bada binga, bada booma. Now for Foxy Moxie.
That's going to be loud for the audio.
It's going to be really loud, but Moxie's back.
Hello.
Nice to have you. Who is that clapping in the distance? Really loudly into the mic of the audio? This is when you introduce yourself. Willow. Her name is Willow. She is here. That is 4 people, which I believe is a record for this show. We have 4 people on the show today.
Yeah.
So let's get into what we've been up to, because we're such busy people.
It's falling apart, man.
Oh, it's falling apart long before we hit record. So, Slug, I want you to begin off. Any new music recommendations?
Belly Who's new album is fire. It's so fire, man. Just Business is my favorite track on it. And no matter what James says, yes, the reggae grooves, you're there for the reggae grooves, but I stay there for the ska songs. Gotta show some representation. Yes, they're reggae rock, but they also do other styles in that particular field, like ska. And it's a really good ska song, and it's like the first one in a while where I'm like, bravo. Just a round of applause. Just like I can't think of a better one.
I can't speak on it because I've only listened to half of it. But for what I heard, I'm like, yeah, that's Ballyhoo.
Mm-hmm.
They're good. They're a good band. Listen to them.
They the rhythm section is just on fire for this album. The bass, the drums, the keyboard, especially for side B, keyboard is just killing it the entire time, man. It's pretty good. Typically, I'm not too happy about keyboard being in reggae.
Really?
Because I feel like it takes away, because a lot of the keyboard does is the skank beat, and I feel like that takes it away from the rhythm guitar player.
I feel like it enhances it. We'll get to why I think it enhances it in a sec. But that's your plug? That's Slug's plug?
Slug's plug.
Moxie,
Mm-hmm.
any new music, anything you've been listening to?
I've recently been re-listening to Will Wood's Selfish album. I think that it's the genre is kind of mixed with it. It goes between different, between rock and, I don't know the exact word for it, but it's a blend of genres, and I think that it's a bit introspective, because he was making it during the time where he was like really, where he was abusing drugs, not just like normal recreational stuff. Like he was deep into powder and shit like that.
The stuff you snort off hookers' asses. Like
Yeah.
that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that it's very introspective, and I think it deals with existentialism. It's not, it makes you think about progressing as a person with a couple of songs, and I think that I am a chronic re-listener, so I will latch onto an artist and keep listening to their stuff over and over until I find a new one to grab onto.
Does it make brain go burr?
Yes, it
Brain
tingles
go
the
burr.
it tingles the little autistic
There you go.
neurons in my
A
brain,
little man in your head.
doing a little jig.
Willer,
Hell
Willie,
nah.
you've listened to no new music,
I have not, unfortunately.
no shoutouts.
Shout out to my mom.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I've listened to no one new myself, but I've been particularly on New York Dolls. That's really about it. I've just been repeating their entire discographies, New York Dolls.
Pretty good choice.
Yeah, but as far as shows I've been to, I've now you have a particular interest in this band. You have an experience with them that wasn't all too pleasant, not because of the band itself, but because of the audience.
Yeah.
Me and Sluggy had previously gone to see A1A, which is a Jimmy Buffett cover band, officially sanctioned by Jimmy Buffett himself, the only one. They've been active, I believe, since 1981, so they've been going for a while now. Cycled through different members, but me and Slick saw them before. Didn't have the greatest time with the audience. Well, I had a great time. Let's just say that. Slick did not. But I saw them a second time, this time in Lilburn. And they were opened by Black Lion, which is a reggae cover band. I'm not entirely sure if they have any of their own original stuff. I have yet to go out of my way to search it out yet, but I plan to. All the songs they played, Black Lion, were phenomenal. They played Wish You Were Here. They played Come Together, Beatles style, not Aerosmith style. They played it all in reggae. And they had a keyboardist, and it just added a flavor to it that I don't want to say other reggae songs are missing, but it definitely adds a unique flavor to it that is interesting. It was something that I'm like, wow, I didn't know I needed that. It's fine without it, but with it, I'm like, this is it's like oregano. You know, I don't really need it, but it has just enough flavor than where I want it. You know what I mean? That's where I am with Black Lion and A1A. A1A, of course, is great. They played some Bob Seger songs too. I don't know why. It's not like Jimmy Buffett doesn't have a 50-year history with music, so I don't know why you have
You're
to
not
go.
gonna run out of songs.
They played all the big ones toward the end, and it's great. They have these. I remember going to a restaurant before they started, and I walked in this restaurant, and there's a guy dressed as a pirate in there. I'm like, I know that motherfucker. I know that pirate right there. They have two pirates that travel with them. They don't play an instrument. They don't add anything other than decor. They are set dressing in its purest form. They dress up like pirates, and when Cheeseburger in Paradise plays, they go around parading a giant ass cheeseburger, and they throw it at people in the crowd, and they put on hula dresses, and they shake maracas. So you know what? I'll give them credit. They do play an instrument. They play maracas occasionally when the song calls for it. Show was great. The next day, which was yesterday, today's Monday, yesterday on Sunday was Cinema Day. Did anyone know it was Cinema Day?
I heard
I
about
read
it.
about it.
I didn't know this. But my dad also, of course, didn't know this, but he decided he wanted to see Haunted Mansion. Now, just think about my dad. He's got some back problems, and he's not great walking long distances as of late. But he, out of the blue, for whatever reason, was like, no, I don't want to see Barbie. No, I don't want to see Oppenheimer. No, I don't want to see Talk to Me by the Rocka Rocka guys. What I want to see is the Haunted Mansion. And which is good. It's not a sequel to the Eddie Murphy movie, so I don't really care about it. But, nonetheless, my father was interested, therefore I had some interest in seeing it. So I go out to the Mall of Georgia, the Regal Cinema, to go see this film with my father. And it's a big deal because he never watches movies with me. The last movie I tried to get him to watch was The Hobbit, the first one, back in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And he fell asleep during the whole movie. It was miserable. I had to keep hitting him. And my cousin was on my right, so I got two people snoring next to me while I'm trying to watch it.
Not the banjo!
No.
Okay, hold on.
So, anyways, as I was trying to say before I was rudely interrupted, so they're snoring next to me, and there's these three hot chicks in front of me, but like probably a little older than me, and of course that's my type. Is anything older than me. And like I'm just embarrassed. I'm trying to enjoy this movie. I was already a fan of Lord of the Rings, and now it's ruined. It's runt. And that was the last time I was with my father at the theaters. So this was a big experience for the both of us. We get to the theater. I didn't know it was cinema day, but I noticed there was a peculiar amount of people in the in the parking lot. More than usual. Yeah, it's the Mall of Georgia, but you know how malls are. These places are falling apart. Most of them are empty, or they're on their way out. And anytime me and Slug have gone, we've seen Barbie, Oppenheimer, Scream 6 there. What else we see there?
I saw the Little Peep
Terrifier
documentary.
2.
We saw Terrifier 2
Yep.
there, yeah.
Terrifier 2, which is crazy. We saw a Terrifier 2 at the Mall of Georgia. Regal Cinemas. That's crazy.
I'm upset we missed Terrifier 1 coming to theaters again.
Yeah. The 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park is coming up. They're doing a re-release of that film in theaters. You're not going to see it advertised, but if you go to the theater, you will see 30th anniversary posters all over the place. Anyways, I get there, walk through, and immediately I'm like, something's different. Something is off. Not just is there way more people there than usual, and every time me and Slug have gone, there's been maybe like 30, 40 people walking around that mall, maybe, and we're talking bottom floor, the top floor, the concession stands. There's like nobody there. It's a ghost town in these places. This place was packed. Go up, and as I'm going up the elevator with my dad, something just occurs to me. I don't see anything yet. I just hear noise, and I'm thinking, we're not seeing this movie. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a sixth sense. I don't know what it is. I'm like, we're not seeing this film. It's just not going to happen. As I round the top of the escalator, I see nothing but people. A sea of people. I can't even barely see over their heads. But what I can see is that the gates are down. So when you get up the escalator, normally you just walk to the concession stands. There's two gates up on the left and the right, preventing people from going any further. And at each gate is a Gwinnett County police officer and a security guard. There's a few other people walking around in uniforms. I couldn't tell if they were police or security. I just know there just was not enough people there. For whatever was going on, there was not enough people there. Within probably 2 minutes, things devolved very quickly. One teenager decided to shove one of the cops.
Oh,
That's a fun choice to make.
Yeah, and I've seen this happen before. Not with cops. I've seen it with security, either at school or in other places. I've seen people try their luck against security. Never goes well, but I've seen it. This is the first time I've ever seen someone physically assault an officer. Like straight up just pushing this guy, about to start swinging. Now, good thing he had his friend, handy dandy friend behind him with his arm, giving him that cobra clutch around his throat, holding him back. Otherwise, he would have been all over this cop. And this cop is probably like 18, 19 years old. He's a kid. Things at this point are bad, but the 80% of the audience doesn't know it. And I call them an audience because everyone's just standing around watching. There's nothing else to do. You're either taking selfies, talking with your buddies, or you're filming this for TikTok views. Either or. But the fact that most people are completely not perturbed by this, it's a normal set of events happening before them, like they've seen it. I don't know if you know this about Mall of Georgia. It's completely gang-ridden.
Is it?
Yeah, it's very, at least with delinquents and that type of stuff, that kind of behavior, it's renowned for it. Most malls at this point are. But then things take a turn when a guy in white, I believe he's a Gwinnett County police officer, whips out a baton
Oh.
or a billy club, and begins whacking on all the people, and he starts shouting at everyone to just go, get down, get off this floor, get on the lower floor. He's telling everyone to get out. People are starting to freak out at this point. People are videotaping. Some people are just confused. Don't really know what's going on. People are still trying to ask, hey, I have tickets for a movie. Can I go see a movie? The second I got to the top of the escalator, I knew I wasn't seeing a movie. But people are still trying to ask in the middle of a fight. And then other people start joining in. Everyone's hooting and hollering. And while I want to call it a riot, because it's really not, there's really only 3 aggravators in this entire event that are trying to cause a fuss. It was enough to get everything riled up. So I go back down the escalator, and as I get to the bottom with my dad, who has missed the entire thing because he never went up. He went up and he went down before the trouble started. As I go back down and look behind me, the kid's being pushed down the stairs by the cop. They're like straight up falling down the stairs, and I hear the sound of a taser go off. And it's completely unrelated to the kid falling down the stairs, which means I left at a good time because shit just hit the fan. Tasers are being used. And I'm just like, okay, let's just go. And the cop comes back and he's like, everyone, he's like frantic. He's like, everyone, get the fuck out of the mall right now. Everyone leave right now. And I'm trying to tell people walking in that it's closed. We got to go. People don't listen to me. And then this group of girls, I mean, probably not even like 15, 16 years old, immediately are confronted by the cop in question with the club, who's just like, everyone get the hell out, get out. The girls walk up to him and immediately confront him with, no. What do you mean, no? An officer of the law is telling you to get the fuck out of the mall, it's closed. You're like, well, we got tickets for a movie. And the best part is, the girl calls the officer by his first name.
Oh, fuck.
That's not good. You should have known this guy by his first name.
Fuck you, Daniel.
I think his name's Jeff or something.
Oh, her name is Jeff.
I don't know. Anyways, I love how immediately preceding this, however, I was sitting by the railing, just kind of like gauging the situation, trying to like, okay, what's happening? Now that I'm on the bottom floor looking up, where I can see everyone at, where I can get a better view. I'm like, okay, what's going on? I saw a bunch of kids in Oppenheimer outfits. You could tell they were there for Oppenheimer or Barbie, but I think Oppenheimer because they're dressed in really nice tailored suits and everything. And they were on the other side of the gate. There were people on the other side of the gate who were in. So my speculation, when I pretty much am very confident in what happened, is because it was cinema day, it was like $3 or $4 to see a movie, the police got flooded with people. And they don't have enough staff or people working there to tell them no. They're not going to go theater to theater and tell people, hey, you don't sit here. Because it's a reservation like type of deal. That's how it works. You get a seat, and that's your seat. They don't have enough people to tell them they don't sit there. They have maybe like 5 people working there. They definitely only had like maybe 8 security guards in general, but they're out front trying to stop more people from getting in. So they close the gates. And this is where I think the violence comes from, is families get separated. Friends got separated who all paid for a ticket, but other people get to go in and others can't. So parents are getting separated from their children, friends are getting separated from friends. That's going to make a lot of people pissed. So like, we paid for this ticket. Now, they say you're given refunds, but you have to come back the next day to do it. But in the heat of the moment, the second someone lays hands on the cop, oh, it's on.
I remember that.
Remember it well, because when there's 300 people and 8 cops, who's going to stop you? You're stronger than the law.
Oh.
Remember that. The law can't stop you. The law's an illusion.
Do you know what happened when the Clash fought the Law?
The law won.
Yeah.
That's a cover, but I'll let you keep it.
That's the one that I'm going to listen to.
Bobby Fuller was killed by the mafia. He was burned alive in his car. It was set up. It was rigged. It's a conspiracy. But yeah, the Clash's version is really good too. Clash is really good too. The whole thing was honestly very just like whatever. It was kind of uneventful. And I've said this on the show before. I love chaos. I love being in the middle of just a chaotic event happening. My heart didn't skip a beat. This cop was attacking this kid with a stick about 5 feet from me, and it didn't occur to me, maybe I should run. And not once. And it kind of concerned me that it wasn't like a worry that I had. That if things go out of control, I could be shot, I could be tased, something might go. But I'm like, there's only 8 cops. What are they going to do?
What did your dad think about this?
Not much. We were just like really chill about it. It was like, okay. And then we left. It was just like whatever. It was so uneventful, but you could say the whole thing was an adventure, and I think that's going to lead us into our main topic for today. Guys, I want to talk about Adventure Time.
Here it is.
You want to grab your friends? No, I want to grab a bottle of Jack, and let's talk about the first 2 seasons of Adventure Time. Let's go.
Let's go.
The butterflies and bees. Oh, the Meat Canyon video is a classic. Guys, I want to start with our thoughts on the show first, where it started. You have to really get to the nostalgic root of it, because especially with cartoons like this, and with our age demographic, we grew up with it. The show grew up with us.
Dude, I was fucking there.
You were there for episode 1.
Yeah, I was there, man.
Episode 1. So I'm going to do a little roundtable discussion real quick before we do episode by episode. Let's talk about the first 2 seasons and what were we doing when we saw them? Were we there for each episode like Slug was? Let's find out. Slug, go first. What's your experience?
I kind of want to hear the guest first.
Go ahead, Moxie.
Really putting me on the spot here.
Well, honestly, it's because I'm trying to find something real quick.
Not the
It's like,
banjo.
Who put that banjo there?
Yo, put that bag back on.
Dude, every time I hit a curve, I'm like, who put that fucking curve there? It's not my driving ability. It's the
We get the drivability of the car.
it's the city architects, right?
Remember, the curve hit you. It didn't. You didn't hit it.
I'll tell
The
them
drink
next
his drinkability.
Oh, dude, that was a crazy night. I miss moving you out of the apartment. You don't miss that?
Nope.
That's such a good time.
Shit, man. Nope.
I had such a good time spending 8 hours late at night till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning helping you move. Oh, God. Moxie, go ahead.
So I wasn't there at the beginning, like Slug was, but I did. I was there pretty early on, and when I was a kid, I really liked it, but I feel like I was more preoccupied with other shows, mainly Dragon Ball Z.
That's fair.
As a kid.
That's fair.
But as I've gotten older, I think it's a perfect little time capsule of animation around the time that it came out. It fills me with a deep nostalgia, and I think it still holds up really well even to this day, which isn't something that I can say for a lot of animated shows that seem to have come out around that time. I feel like it was Cartoon Network as a whole was in an interesting period when it came to their animated shows.
Prime. The prime of this company's life is right here.
Yeah. And I feel like now that I have rewatched it as an adult, I feel like I've gotten closer with it. It's like looking at yourself as a kid, I feel.
I didn't have a dog growing up.
Wow, I wasn't okay, Bombshell. I wasn't expecting her to say that. Wow. I want to say, Moxley, that pretty much sums up how epic everyone feels about it.
Took all our goddamn notes.
Yeah, like that's it. Close up shop, go home, man. That's not going to get better.
You guys wanted me to go first.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let's hold judgment. It's not competitive. Willow?
This was the first quote-unquote adult show that I actually got to watch. My sister supervised so much shit that I fucking watched on YouTube, on TV, telling my Hispanic-ass mother she can't watch that. Why? Because it's stupid, and it's going to make her brain stupid. That's exactly what she told my mom. And my mom was like, mira que no vas a ver esto en televisión, no te vas a ver eso. That's what she told me.
That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, exactly. It does not. But watching it as an adult, this is exactly what Moxie said. It's like, damn. Fuck, man, I wish that was me as a kid. Actually, no, I can't relate to that. I didn't have that fun little adventure ass shit that y'all have. I did not have that.
The fun adventurous ass shit. No, man, same, man, same.
But I will say there would be times where I would like come home from school. I think it came out when I was around school because I remember watching it around that time. But anyways, I would come home from school. No one would be home, and I would watch that shit. An unorganized episode. I would watch it. I remember it being the first and the second season, and then from then on, how many seasons does Adventure Time have?
It's 10.
Oh yeah,
It's
it
10.
is that. But like those few episodes that I got to watch, obviously, of course, they were like the ones that maybe this isn't. Maybe I see why my sister's supervising me. Fucking candy zombies eating people into like low key graphic detail. You remember that one episode where fucking Jake got wrecked by the zombies? Her was like getting ripped off.
Yes.
That's what started it. That's what fucking started the zombie phobia, bro. Adventure Time traumatized me,
Yo,
but I fucking love it.
I didn't know this podcast was gonna be a therapy session.
I mean, when we did our episode talking about I forget which one, but it was one of the ones where we were talking about Killing Murphy, and I went into an hour discussion talking about why I don't like scarecrows.
That's understandable.
Oh, was that the Courage the Cowardly Dog
I
one?
think so, yeah.
We talked about nightmares and fears. Now, I have absolutely no deep-rooted trauma with Adventure Time, but I do want to harp on one of your points. It comes with this gloss, this gleam, and it's kid-friendly, candy people, everything's like overly saturated in its bright colors, and you think, oh, it's family-friendly, it's cutesy. These first two seasons, like on a rewatch, are some of the most violent, over-sexualized cartoons I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's like super violent. And I think you described Finn as what, chaotic good?
Yeah.
He's barely in chaotic good, but I'll let him keep it.
I will say, Adventure Time and SpongeBob are the most quoted shows we've ever quoted.
Probably SpongeBob more.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
But recently, because the lead up for the Adventure Time episode, we probably quoted Adventure Time more often than not.
You put that back there.
No,
That's a fun one, yeah.
I didn't start with the first episode. It's a show I knew of, but like most things, I'm late to the party. By the time I get to the party, it's usually done, and I have to clean up everyone's mess. But this time around, I showed up season 3, and I believe
Showed that late?
yeah.
I thought you said you started season 2.
You know what the funny part is? I've seen season 2, but I didn't start it. You know what I mean? Like consecutively watching week after week. I'd seen pieces and episodes before, but season 3. The funny thing is, I wasn't trying to watch Fiona and Cake. I was trying to watch Secret Mountain Fort Awesome. It just so happened that night, Fiona and Cake played, and you and me watched it at the same time without even knowing it.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about
But
this.
immediately after the episode played, it played the premiere episode of Secret Mountain Fort Awesome, which just got robbed. There was so much potential with that show. But did the creator of Uncle Grandpa, wasn't that his first project before going into Uncle Grandpa?
But that show be
Yeah.
It was, so, I think Fort Awesome was already a side project.
Okay.
Yeah, from my understanding, but I can't remember the main one.
In order to talk about Adventure Time, we got to go back a little bit, though. You can't start with this show because it's too deep, it's too broad. Like most things, we got to go to the source.
This is the calm before the storm.
Cal Arts art style fucking sucks. It's oversaturated. It's overdone. But at the time, it wasn't. Let's go to a little known show called Flapjack.
oh.
Hands down, top 5 S tier. You can suck my dick.
Thurip Van Orman was the creator of that show, and he voices Shelby in Adventure Time and has other such roles.
Yeah.
He's got a voice like a child. He's such an... Pendleton Ward and him are very interesting, almost just childlike people. And I mean that in the most positive way possible. They have such a childlike innocence about them that I wish a lot more animation had. But with Thurop Van Orman's show Flapjack, it had this essence of adventure, whimsy, and but also darkness. There's such a darkness to that show. And no matter how colorful and funny it got, there's always this sad darkness lurking underneath. That honestly, I can't say any shows before really had. But moving forward, every animator that worked on that show, like J.G. Quintel, who would later do regular show, or Pendleton Ward doing Adventure Time, a lot of people who started in this era, they took from Flapjack this sadness and this darkness. No matter how colorful it was, there was always something right under the surface that was just a little macabre. And it changed the face of animation moving forward. Pendleton Ward's one of his first projects was Bueno the Bear. Very simple art style, very, very rudimentary. But the design for Bueno the Bear influenced the design and aesthetic of Finn, and from there, he birthed the idea for Adventure Time, which was originally pitched to Nickelodeon in 2008, and that's when the pilot was first released. The pilot, it's good. You got your staples like Abraham Lincoln being the president of Mars. You got Jake being able to meditate, which comes back during Marceline's Closet in season 3. There's a few things, right? Even like Lady Raincourt even speak Korean. She just like screamed. She looked like Birdo. She just screamed the whole time. And there's even an artistic callback to that in the King Worm episode in season 4. So like, there's a lot of nods to it, and it's very important to note that this pilot laid the groundwork for what the show was going to look and feel like. A lot of pilots feel disconnected. This feels like it's different, and even then, Finn was called Penn after the creator Pendleton Ward. So the show was different, but it was like this is enough to pitch it as the final product you're going to get. Ice King was there. It set up everything perfectly. Nickelodeon turned it down.
Dumbasses.
The same people who made fucking Breadwinners, or what was that show called? Banana Cricket. You know what I'm talking about?
No clue.
There's some weird ones. There's some weird shows that
I
come up.
like Fanboy and Chum Chum.
Oh no, it's good. Let's clear the room, all right?
We'll see where we're at.
Yeah, Fanboy and Chum Chum's great, and also the voice actress for Chum Chum is the same voice actress for White Diamond and Steven Universe.
Dude, what?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, I made that shit up.
Okay, good. Because I have no reference for that.
No. White Diamond's voice actress is Gladys from Portal.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I'm just fucking with you. I don't know why. I have no reason to. I'm trying to get the facts up, but let me lie to you real quick.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You never know. You'll never know with me. You have to fact check me yourself, and you'll never know. Going into Adventure Time, off the back burner of like Chowder and Flapjack, you get the Renaissance era. I think everyone can agree that the trinity is Adventure Time, regular show, and Gumball, which finally aired in 2010 to 2011. Gumball and regular show come out in 2011, Adventure Time 2010, but all the episodes were animated, at least in the first season, in 2009, and that's why in the second episode with Lumpy Space Princess, Trouble in Lumpy Space Princess just says, it's 2009. Completely breaking any world building or lore, and the show just never recovered. It never recovered. But it dates it in a way that's very like, wow, what was I doing at that time? 2009, 2010. What grade was I in? What was I doing?
It's elementary school, right?
Yeah.
That's the beginning of 7th grade.
I failed a grade. Remember? So I would have been in 6th grade.
No, you failed that grade.
I didn't fail 7th grade.
6th grade.
Yeah, I failed 6th grade.
Yeah.
I'm saying this for our listeners. I failed 6th grade. And then I got held back a year in 9th grade because I hit a guy with an industrialized tape dispenser. And now I'm not graduating high school until I was after 20.
That's okay. I didn't graduate.
Anyways. Let me get another sip of Jack. My throat's getting parched. So let's move on into the first season. It, like you said, it's a time capsule. It's an encapsulation. Sluggear was there from the beginning of it. What's your thoughts on this first season as a whole before we do an episode by episode dissection?
So what is this? April of 2010. So I'm 9 when this comes out. I'm currently 23. I was 9 when this came out.
Stop it.
Oh,
23, man.
I'm not that old.
And that's one way to get me in. Started with a zombie. Name it Slumber Party Panic. Like it's a 70s grindhouse film.
the title card and
Yeah.
everything too.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So the introduction, you got PB and you got Finn, trying to literally just bring back the dead, her ex boyfriend, and Finn is not on the fence about it, not because they're raising the dead or the morality of it. It's just that this dude used to date PB.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mr. Cream Puff?
Yeah.
We used to say.
That's pretty good.
And I was just like, dude, you're gonna start off with a zombie episode? Fuck yeah, I'm gonna stick around for this.
I was 6. I was 6 when that came out.
Wow. Now remember, let's clear let's get the facts straight first. This technically wasn't the first episode, at least not production-wise.
Right.
The very first episode is episode 5, the Enchiridion, and that was the first. So a lot of these episodes are out of order. So when we review these, keep in mind that this is how they were released chronologically on the air. This is how people saw them. You'll see this if you buy a box set, they're going to be listed like this. But this is not how they were intended to be released. The studio released them this way themselves. So there's a bunch of episodes with continuity errors, and they don't really blend real well together as a continuous viewing, but they were meant to be in this pattern. So we had Slumber Party Panic. Plot's very simple. Yeah, Finn, PB, the bring back
Dead candy.
old man, Mr. Cream Puff. It's such a weird way to open because it wasn't meant to be, but it's a hard open of just, okay, we're dealing with the zombie apocalypse right now. We just got introduced to these characters. We just got introduced to the world. We don't know what the hell's going on. Boom, zombie apocalypse. The world's at stake.
I also think that it's kind of important to mention the actual opening for the show, especially if you're watching this as your very first time watching this show. You're introduced to a handful, like 30 different characters as soon the opening title screen opens, and I can understand how it could be overwhelming. But that was one of the things that appealed to me is that with the opening, there's so many characters. It's kind of like, want to see the rest of these characters. What are these guys about?
It's a tracking shot too.
Yeah.
So it's one continuous as animation. It's, of course, with filmmaking, it's a lot harder to achieve a tracking shot. But with animation, it's very easy to do,
Mm-hmm.
and no one does it. So to see a complete tracking shot across the land of Vu, introducing you to locations and players that will be important from the beginning of the show to the end of the show. They could have put a character in there that wouldn't be relevant 4 seasons down the line. Everyone that's in the beginning is important. And they never change it. Like shows like The Walking Dead. I mean, not animated, but they change the opening multiple times to the point where it's unrecognizable by the end of the show. Unless it's a Fiona and Cake episode or a guest animated episode, the intro never changes. It's amazing how they fucking nailed it. Episode 1.
Yeah.
Just nailed it. Also, it's like with Lord of the Rings. If anytime Aragorn comes up where he hits his foot on the helmet, it's like, oh, there it is. As an Adventure Time fan, if you're watching the intro, right when Finn and Jake are going through the Ice Kingdom and Jake's all stretchy and it's nighttime, you hear clicking from a keyboard in the background. That's Pendleton Ward working behind the scenes, and it got recorded into the intro, and they just said, fuck it, keep it. And I respect that. That's a lot of punk energy coming from Pendleton Ward.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
They just kept it. It was either Pendleton or it was a cohort. Either way, someone's typing on the computer while at least Pendleton Ward was singing the intro music, and it just got recorded into it. Like how sometimes if you listen to like a Rolling Stones album or a Pink Floyd album from like Abbey Road, because the place they're recording like literally like between walls, you got multiple huge big name bands with between these walls, you'll catch a glimpse of another artist recording their songs and their songs. It happens all the time with the Beatles and Pink Floyd and all of them. You'll hear them pick up each other's music while they're recording. Seldomly, but it happens. And that's just a fluke where when you hear it, you can't unhear it, and it's charming. It's very charming. But let's talk more in depth about this first episode. Slug, you were there.
There, man. 9 years old watching this shit happen, man. And even at 9, I was like, dude, just tell him it's a royal promise, dog. Because it's like, literally, dog, Jake fucking is older than Finn, so why would he not be aware of the princess's royal promise?
Biologically, he's older than Finn, but yes, I'm sorry you didn't even get that far. we'll figure it out later as we progress. But we're just talking about the first two seasons this episode. Fucking Mr. Cupcake taking off his wrapper. That was risky.
I didn't know he was chocolate.
We know now. The whole world knows it's chocolate now. I love Jake's beef with Mr. Cupcake moving forward. But this is where I didn't have friends growing up.
Mhm.
I was a loser.
Yeah.
Some things never change. But I will tell you this: I didn't know what 7 Minutes in Heaven was before Adventure Time. And this is before they got the lore really figured out. I believe it's the only time heaven is mentioned, and I want to know what the lore implications of that is because they're playing 7 Minutes in Heaven, and Finn says heaven, but heaven does not exist in the Adventure Time universe. It's all just variations of hell or limbo. Well, one of them's pretty nice. Maybe we'll get to that at some point, but there's a lot of like weird things they're figuring out this first season. They don't really have like an idea what the world's like. The lore's not figured out. So you'll get instances where they like name drop heaven, past games like 7 Minutes in Heaven. At this point, the world is not post-apocalyptic. We do not know it's post-apocalyptic. It's just a fantasy world. And then like they're like, okay, let's make them say crazy stuff like algebraic, mathematical, and just throw that out there. Some one-liners, some catchphrases with no bearing on what that actually means. You get stuff like the Royal Promise that never comes up again. You're telling me the Gumball Guardians have the power to freeze time and space? Never comes up again. Never comes up again.
It's weird what they like to pick and choose.
You'll see these first two seasons are very inconsistent with what is possible, what has happened, what is happening, what's the world like, what rules are established. Even in later seasons, like even with all the continuity, it's still like we dug ourselves a hole because of how overpowered some stuff is. So they had to scale back the Gumball Guardians, but they are still very powerful. As you said, this episode released April 5th, 2010, and opened with a very reasonable, very, very, for the time, pretty good 2 million and 2.5 million people. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. That number will drop. The later the seasons we go, and it's sad. Once you start getting the indie Cartoon Network show toward the latter half of the 2010s, the impressive numbers they used to rake in, some of them would break in like 3 million, some of them maybe even 4. That's going to sharply decline as the years go on. But for right now, Adventure Time starts off strong with Slumber Party Panic. Any thoughts?
Kids are young. They got to grow up. That's the only thing I can get from seeing those numbers. Kids grow up, man.
Yeah, well, clearly we didn't because we're still watching the show.
Dude, I
never
haven't
stopped.
watched it. I have to be honest, I probably dropped off around season 5 or 6.
This is what
Almost
most people
halfway.
do.
Yeah.
by us. 6 gets incredibly philosophical.
I didn't have any problems with the show or even the direction it was going with. It's just the time.
So revisiting it's magical.
Yeah.
It's like wow. Now this is a two-parter. Like with most shows, this is an 11-minute show. And looking back, 11 minutes is not enough time to cram in the necessary character building and information you need to deliver to the audience.
Yeah.
It's just not enough. But it's all these episodes come in twos to fill out that 22-minute time slot. We have two 11-minute episodes. The first one was Slumber Party. I'll say Slumber Party Massacre.
Yeah.
The second one is
Could
Trouble.
have been.
Trouble in Lumpy
It
Space.
was
Yeah.
Wants to talk about Trouble in Lumpy Space.
I like the sphere. I like how it looks like a pearl. My little, my little monkey brain. It's just like it's a pearl.
You know how badly I want to be in Lumpy Space? Like, that shit looks so cool.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Like, I want a lumpy person to just come and bite me and start talking like, oh my god.
I want to fall into the endless void.
Oh my god. Oh my
That's
god.
Oh my god.
We knew people in school like that. I swear we did. Pendleton Ward voices Lumpy Space Princess, and every time I hear Lumpy Space, I'm like, that's not a woman. That's just a grown man with a beard. This hipster-looking motherfucker trying to talk like a teenage girl. It's great, but they never bring that up again. The fact that Lumpy Space Princess bites Jake and he gets the lumps very, very quickly. It's very rapid. I mean, it looks like the fucking cordyceps virus from Last of Us.
You done sneezing?
Yeah, I'm done sneezing. Speaking of cordyceps virus, hold on. I don't know what happened. My nose just got stopped up.
I heard it. I heard it on the audio. The moment where you messed up. You can hear the mucus in your nose go into you.
Dude.
And then you proceeded to sneeze.
It's like swimming in my head. I don't know what happened. Maybe this hat's on too tight. I don't know.
Yeah, get you another Peaky Blinders hat.
You every episode you find a way. You find a way to mention it. So that's Trouble in Lumpy Space. Any thoughts, anybody?
I like how it's kind of like a werewolf approach.
They do it a few times, the whole werewolf. You got werewolves. You got
werewolves.
werewolves. Fixes glasses.
Werewolves.
Shut it.
Werewolf feast on the blood of the idiots.
Get the fuck out of here. The werewolf. Get out of here, man.
We're not werewolves. We're werewolves. There's a difference.
Why are you such a fucking idiot? God, eating building people. Oh, there's was it Hugwolves? There's Hugwolves in season 4, I believe. There's so many different variations, and then you get that worm that's teaching phytonomics, theoretical phytonomics. It's like, then I will marry the werewolf queen. There's so many
It's always werewolf queen.
Werewolf queen. It's always werewolf queen. And then I will take her to be my wife, and we will rule in blood. Wait, what? I don't even know what episode that is, but I do know we're on prisoners. We're on Prisoners of Love. I know that. Garnered 1.85 million and released April 12th, 2010. This was the first one I remember seeing. It was not like I wasn't hooked. I didn't have to see every episode after this. This is the first one I remember being like, this is a show. This is my first memory.
Yeah.
And I think this is just me. I think this is the best introduction to the show. Do you have anybody who's going to fight me on that?
Good introduction for the show, Prisoner of Love.
Yeah, I think it introduces, at the time, the main antagonist, the Ice King. It introduces Finn and Jake as heroes who save princesses. Also, Ice King's obsession with stealing princesses. I mean, it's everything you need. It introduces the Ice Kingdom. It introduces Gunther, who is... You haven't got that far yet, I don't think, but Gunther is wildly important later on. Like, very important. I think it sets up beautifully the whole dynamic between Finn, Jake, the Ice King, which at this point in the show is crucial. It's the heartbeat of the show. You remember this episode, right?
Yeah. Sorry. When I ever think of this episode, my brain goes to the episode with Jewel Princess saying, "Save me, Finn."
Shh, we're trying to save you. Shh.
I'm thinking about how good the animation was when Finn was like sliding down with Jake, and Jake was going, and all the penguins like were just landing on him.
Why is it so good?
Crispy.
It's that
smooth.
Crisp.
smooth. Smooth.
I like them. Wait, that's not.
That's the Nice King.
Smooth. Yeah, that's the nice king.
The Nice King said it. The Nice King said, like, smooth, princess.
I could be smooth. It is
I can be whatever I want.
I can be,
a sphere.
I can be whatever he wants me to be.
Ben, punch me.
Punch me, Finn.
God, we'll get to season 2. I swear to God, we'll get to season 2. I just wanted to say that the animation beginning Prisoner's Love is mwah. It's honestly some of the best, not just in this season, but in the first few seasons, it's some of the best animation for no reason.
I will say, I really like that beige shirt that Finn wears, the long sleeve. We don't get to see it as often, but I really like that shirt.
Jake and his booties.
Mm-hmm.
That sweater and Jake's booties are also in Chamber of Frozen Secrets, but it's also another callback to the pilot.
Yeah.
It's the same thing they wore then. I love when Ice King comes out and he's got this tray with all these fun things for them to play. There's like lint from his pocket. There's some string and some weird
granola.
There's a granola bar. And then there's just a figurine of himself.
He's a fun guy.
He knows it too. He knows it too.
Man plays the drums. He's a fun guy.
I'm a fun.
It's really.
Oh my
Ice
God!
King's a drummer and Marshall's a bass player.
You never see that ever. The fact that think about it, Flame Princess can rap. Finn has auto tune. Ice King can play drums. Marceline plays bass. You know, I'm sure Princess Bubblegum does something too. But like
she plays the keyboard.
She could play BMO.
Yeah, this is essentially
and we never see that. We never have a full band. It's weird. But yeah, Ice King's a fun guy, and we're introduced to him there. The episode
Ice King. Sorry to interrupt, but Ice King reminds me of Gigi Allen a little bit.
You just feel bad for him.
Yes,
like he could be better.
The whole time, especially when we get Simon's backstory. Oh my God, it's so sad.
I don't know. Is he Gigi or is he Dino? You tell me, Ice King.
Gigi was a drummer to begin with.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, it fits. It fits. Both probably would sling their feces and shove drumsticks up their ass, but that's just Dino's wheelhouse is the drumsticks.
Yeah.
I can't believe we missed him. I wanted to get drunk and have to take the Greyhound home, but that'll never happen.
I will not let it.
Can't stop me. Free country. Tree trunks.
This establishes a continuity that's broken in like what 3 episodes?
Almost immediately, yeah. Actually, hold that thought. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In 8 episodes, the continuity will be broken.
You're doing so well.
Were they? We're on episode 4.
You're establishing lore. You can't have conflicting.
Well,
just yet.
That's why I began with the season was aired out of order, and we haven't even got to the first episode made. Haven't got to it yet. But we are on Tree Trunks, which introduces the sweet old elephant lady who makes pies, apple pies. She lives on almost an Angry Orchard, at an apple orchard. And like it's
straight up cougar.
Oh, she's a MILF. It's the
she's too
MILF.
old to be a MILF.
She's a GILF?
Yeah.
We never find out her age. But yeah, she's a GILF for sure. Now here's the thing. There's so many characters introduced.
You can't
hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
Oh, the tiny elephant? Let me hear you out about the tiny elephant, Chandler.
Like, it's like Vaporeon, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, hear me out. The thing about Tree Trunks
You
is...
keep saying, "Hear me out," but I
No,
don't
It's
know if I
because
want to listen.
she's an older woman that's sexy to
I'm-
you.
The thing is, I'm not... You guys... We're not on the same wavelength. I'm not going there at all. I'm trying to say she's a background character. Like, every episode this season, it introduces a new character. Like, when we get to, like, something like the Jigular, or the next episode in Kyridia that introduces Manish Man, or the Keeper. It's like you get these one-off characters who could have been relegated to one episode for the entire show. And chances are they probably planned for it to be that way. Tree Trunks is one of those characters, it's like, does she have to come back? Answer me, Moxie. Did Tree Trunks have to be a recurring character?
In theory, probably not. But I feel like that he expanded upon using her for some reason or other. It could be that kids found her funny or something like that.
I can verify I didn't find her funny. I didn't find her attractive. But you are right.
Well,
I think they had a character, they killed her off very brutally, just fucking explodes. And they got to season 2 and they're like, instead of making a new character, why don't we just go from past characters?
Go get that one. We gotta go get her.
yeah.
The cougar, the gilfy elephant that makes pies for Finn and Jake, and it's kind of weird because like Finn's 12 at this point, and Jake's biologically older, but he's still relatively young. He's like in his 20s, I'd say. And the fact that they just hang out at her house and she bakes her pies and she speaks in this very seductive voice is kind of weird, man.
Is she a pedophile?
I mean, honestly, probably because she's attracted to Finn. We know, like, this is confirmed in season 2 when Finn goes he gets kidnapped and taken to the crystal dimension. It's because he literally got kidnapped so Tree Trunks can force herself on him.
Dude, wait.
What do you mean, wait?
What do you mean? Wait, how old was Mr. Pig?
Wait.
Like 40s.
Do you think that Tree Trunks, she got to that crystal dimension, she became that crystal queen? I think she fucked her guards.
Yeah.
Like a gangbang?
I don't know.
Like a crystal bukkake?
Royal gangbang.
Perhaps.
Moxie's like, I'm uncomfortable?
I was starting to think because
Yeah.
the implication of a crystal queen implies a crystal king, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that she became I can't believe these words are about to fall out of my mouth. Do you think that Tree Trunks was a consort?
I can't believe those words just entered my ears.
Yes.
Well, we're the ones.
Yes.
And then she had the guards kill her husband so she could rule.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, shit, if the guards don't have a problem with it, I mean...
You know what, though? I mean, yeah, there had... Or maybe... Well, first off, we know the crystal dimension from later
I keep
episodes.
bumping into this.
It's not just crystal people. It's also rainicorns and dogs originate from that dimension. Well, we don't know if dogs originate, but we know they live there as like a colony. And that's where the rainicorn dog wars happen. So, like, there's other species that live there, but we don't have any sense of their government, hierarchy. All we know is Tree Trunks showed up and took over. Just straight up took over, became super fucking powerful.
She explicitly says she seduced the guards to become...
So, what was the government before? Did they just hand her power because she's that hot?
She probably started a coup.
Wow, there's a lot here.
There's a couple layers to this one.
How many coups have happened because of Seductress?
What, just in Adventure Time? Or just in the Crystal Dimension?
I mean, like in real world history.
Real world history.
Like 4? Maybe even 5?
Yes.
Yes. The little nod that you did while you said yes.
I don't have the information. I'm going to agree with you as quietly as I can so I don't sound wrong.
It makes sense to me.
That sounds right.
There's some really funny lines from this episode, too. Like, all this Finn saying, yeah, I'm okay if letting you do whatever you want. Or like half the shit that Tree Trunk says in the episodes is just funny. You got the wall of flesh, which reminds me of Terraria. You know what I'm talking about. You play Terraria. You know that wall of flesh. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but you can't put stickers on it in Terraria.
You know, is Terraria a lesser version of Adventure Time?
No.
Is it a lesser version of Minecraft?
Yes.
You will see. We come to the facts on this show with logic and reasoning and deduction skills. We will come to the right answer, and that's where we are
The correct answer.
with the Inkyridian episode 5.
Dude, this is fun.
This is the first episode of the production.
This is a very fun episode. He just kicks him in the nuts. I think that's the.
You can't just go right there and kick him in the balls. Like, is it a plot point? It absolutely is. But that's not the
Hey kid, you want some demon powers?
How often
You want
is
a
that?
demon? You want a demon heart? That's a later. That's a little bit later in season 1, but it's almost the same guy.
It's a little different. No, actually, is it? It might be the same guy. It might be.
Demon powers
Like,
and a free keychain.
well, that was an add-on. That wasn't even the original plan. So it makes me wonder: is that the equivalent of a drug dealer? You? You want some demon heart, kid?
You want some demon heart, Daedric heart.
You want some free wizard power? Like, I don't know. If someone came up to me on the street and was like, "Hey, kid, you want some wizard powers?" I'd be like,
Was Moxie on the show when we talked about there need to be wizard police in Skyrim?
"Yeah, you might have been drunk somewhere else." Was that even on the show?
Yeah, it was on the show though. We were
Was
talking
it?
about
I don't know. I was
there
drunk.
needs to be a wizard police.
I don't. Did we talk about that?
At some point, I have a feeling we were talking about on the
It
show.
would've-
I was talking about on the show. I'm just trying to remember if you.
Dude, you talked
it
for
was
almost like an hour.
It would have had to been during the Lord of the Rings episode.
Yeah, maybe. My reason I bring it up is because it's like there's no magic police in Ooh, really.
There's only one place. In Wizard City. In Wizard City, there is a wizard police. That's it. Most of Ooh... See, I love Ooh's world building because it makes sense. Like, I understand it. I know where the places are. There's a map it's not the greatest map, but you get a gist where things are. But like, once you leave the Candy Kingdom, that's where the border's in, right? That's it, right?
Where the land stops being made of candy, and that stretches pretty far.
Are you sure about that? Because in a later episode, Finn and Jake get back to their treehouse, and Princess Bubblegum is in there taking taxes, like
I
stealing.
remember
their
that.
gold.
I remember that.
She's just stealing their gold hoard without barging, like the U.S. government tends to do, barges into their house and takes their hard-earned money and then leaves. So Finn and Jake living in the grasslands are subject to Candy Kingdom law.
Yeah, the candy border goes pretty far.
Now, Hot Dog Kingdom. Do you think they just made her princess to make her feel good about herself? Like the Hot Dog Princess?
What did I say about Hot Dog Princess? I said something when we were watching.
You like her guards.
Oh yeah, they're fun.
Yeah,
That's season 2.
yeah.
That's
yeah.
one of the most vivid remembering of that being the first, like, a brand new episode. Looking forward to was that hot dog episode.
The hot dog episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Enchiridion, honestly, I take back what I said about Prisoners of Love being the best introduction, considering this is like the #1 episode that like ever made. This is also the best starting point. You're introduced to Princess Bubblegum. She's a damsel in distress this early on. She's not really the tyrannical dictator, brilliant genius that she is later on. This that creates a Chinese surveillance state in the Candy Kingdom. At this current moment,
We can't just you do this every show, man.
That's what it is. Just wait till you get the later seasons, all right? She creates this fucking dystopian, George Orwellian type of dictatorship. But my point is, at this point, she's colorful and silly, and it's all fun and games. And it establishes Finn and Jake as heroes again from the very start. We're introduced to Punchy. Well, not introduced. Manfred's in the first episode. Punchy's has a little bit of a bigger role for about 2 seconds on screen. Would you believe me? Because you haven't got that far. Would you believe me that Crunchy, Manfred, and Punchy? Did I repeat all three of those? Did I say that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are some of the most. Punchy, Manfred, and Crunchy are the three most important characters in the late game of Adventure Time.
I could see that, yeah.
Like, straight up, that punch bowl was on screen for 2 seconds at the beginning of the Enchiridion. Manfred, it shows up for a handful of episodes, is one of the single most important characters in the show.
Manfred's there when Cinnamon Bun hurts himself.
Okay, we need to talk about this. Within the first 5 seconds of the show, we see a tragedy occur.
Hey everyone, I'm gonna do a flip.
Famous last words.
Yes.
His eye color is different. His voice is different. The second Cinnamon Bun decides to quote unquote do a flip, he's not the same.
Kills himself brain damage.
Like, straight up, he gives himself brain damage, causes Princess Bubblegum to fall out of the tower. Finn saves her. And she's like, "Oh my god, you're a hero. Let me show you one of the most important artifacts in the history of the fucking universe with the Enchiridion." You haven't got that far, but trust me, the Enchiridion is like the single most important artifact in the show. And she's like, "You saved me, so let me give you this incredibly important artifact that predates the fucking universe." So
yeah, there was a tone shift. As soon as, like, I think that's the tone shift of the show. It's when Cinnamon Bun gives himself brain damage. Because it's like, oh, real. Like, obviously they're candy, so he's going to be fine. But this, the symbolism of a candy citizen getting hurt.
yeah.
You know?
Well, they also established in the first episode when they get scared, they blow up.
Yeah.
And that does come back later with a fairly lore important episode later on in season 5. But like, they just ignore that. The fact they get scared and they explode. You would think that'd be really important.
Yeah, that's kind of affects your everyday to day life.
But later on, they explain with Cinnamon Bun, "Oh, he's just half baked," and I honestly don't know what answer's worse. The audience at the time saw Cinnamon Bun live give himself a brain hemorrhage or a concussion, versus no, he's just stupid. Princess Bubblegum made him to be mentally deficient, and he was created that way. What's worse?
Being okay.
Being retarded?
Hey.
Being created to be stupid versus you see him literally give himself brain damage live on Adventure Time.
I think it's given that it's a kid's show, yeah, but I think in concept, seeing the moment where it's like it's sad, yes, but it's not on the same sad level. It's literally being designed by your God in particular chose you to be slow.
That
Yeah, that's pretty. Both are not good options.
Maybe it works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
Princess Bubblegum does not work in mysterious ways. She's fucking evil. She's
Dude, do you ever just think about the fact there's like a literal candy kingdom? Like, imagine having a sweet tooth at night, and you're like, let's just go to the candy kingdom and fucking eat something.
Susan Strong.
There you go.
I bring back friends and eat all of Candy Kingdom. No! Yeah!
You can't. She said she was hungry. You took her to a place where the people are made out of candy. What do you these can happen? Oh,
I want to eat the fucking floor, like the road.
Let's go eat Cinnamon Bun.
Let's get some. That's literally what Jake says.
Yeah.
Was it? That's
The Well.
The
The Well episode with the guy that's like
party animal. Party animal.
Oh my god, what does he say? Jack the dog.
Jack.
Oh, Dungeon.
Dungeon episode,
yeah. we're gonna move on from the Kyridian. Other than the fact, I like the trials are great. There's a great line with
I'm wearing my PJs.
Gnomes and Illusions is a great Jake
It's
line.
just gnomes and illusions, man.
That's life. Life is just gnomes and illusions. I love Manish Man. He's on screen for maybe a minute. He's referenced once. It's like why does Tree Trunks come back, but Manish Man's relegated to a one-time appearance?
Dude, do you remember when he just started laughing and then just flexing really hard?
His muscles
His
flexed.
the veins on his muscles had muscles.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I know. By the way, I should say that Ian Kyridian was released April 19th, alongside, I believe, one of your least favorite episodes. I could be wrong, but episode 6, season 1, The Jiggler.
There's the Jiggler and Donnie, I think, are the weakest episodes.
Those are kind of lame. Yeah.
You guys want to explain why he feels such this way?
They're
Are we
boring.
on Donnie? The Jiggler.
The Jiggler, right now.
Excuse me. I think the Jiggler is a little weak because it's kind of a disconnect. Because it's all of these adventures with thrills and chills and stuff. But then we get to the episode where he babysits and he fucking gets the baby.
The banjo!
Alright, hold on. It's after we fix that. It's boring. Not gonna lie to you, at least to me. Yeah, the perspective of it's like we're it's not a drop in quality because it's a good episode. That's not the issue. What my issue is, it's kind of like we were just on all these crazy adventures. Now we're just babysitting. What's going on here?
That's kind of how I feel about the Donnie episode too, because they're not babysitting him, but they're teaching him how to be like a decent,
Not to be a dick.
yeah, be a decent person, not bully house people. Mr. Bank is who I want to be.
I would rob Mr. Bank.
Do you care to elaborate? Or are we just going to leave it there?
Running for his bags, dog. Go home with some cake. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
like, it has nothing to do with the animation. It really feels like it's just the plot. Like, literally just the plot. Like, they could have came up with, like, a better episode, a better story.
Come up with a better plot than Wolves.
I was gonna say, a good fucking plot like Wolves.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, okay.
I'm agreeing with you. It's just so competitive. For the longest time, I thought it was true that, like, yeah, if you put a baby bird back in this nest, the mom would reject it because I saw the Jiggler. And I legit thought that's how nature worked. And I've heard other people parrot that statement, not because of the Jiggler, but like, you can't put a baby bird back in this nest because the mom will be like, I don't know who
the
this
fuck are
is.
you?
Yeah, because if someone touched it. I'm like, that's not actually how it works.
Well, actually.
Oh my god, push your glasses up first.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
You do it from the brim. Actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just. No. I mean, okay, so our cat, me and Slugs, his name's Jerry, and he has a brother, a biological brother named Trashbo, right? So, obviously, they're brothers. They're not like a son and a mother, you know? But when we kind of separated them, because we had adopted Trashboat first, and then eventually we did adopt Jerry also, they didn't recognize each other. We all thought, oh my god, it's going to be a great, big family reunion. They're going to be like, oh my god, it's my fucking brother. Hell yeah, man, where have you been? No, the second they got together, they started hissing and growling at each other. And that's a jiggler right there. Right there. Whole episode.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I like the fact that Jake has an eye patch collection. I also have an eye patch collection.
How expansive is it?
Do you have fake eyes too?
No. I don't wear the eye patches because I'm missing an eye. I wear eye patches because they're fashionable.
Well, I only ask because Jake it was eye patches and fake eyes.
I thought that was Finn's. I thought one of them had fake eyes and the other had with the eye patches.
Guys, listen. All I know is The Jiggler set me on a path that I cannot come back from.
Jesus.
No, not Christ. Christ has not set me on any path that's lasted as
The
long as my
J-Man.
obsession.
Shame.
The J-Man, the J-Man did set me on the path of collecting eye patches.
Yeah, the J-Man, a.k.a. the Jiggler.
With a jiggler, man.
The Jacer.
So, like, yeah, I would say, like, something came from it. It was positive. Is a newfound obsession with eye patches. That's really it. I
I'm
like.
sorry.
It's a fun. It's a fine episode altogether.
It's a good episode, yes.
Episode
You holding
7.
up over there?
It's just because he's fucking Chandler said something funny, and I was just swallowing the coke, and it hurt.
I don't even know what I said 5 sentences ago, but I do know we're talking about Ricardio the Heart Guy. April 26, 2010.
Dark.
It was very, very tough.
I didn't like that episode.
Did you feel uncomfortable?
It was just uncomfortable. It was like I mean that's his whole point, to make you uncomfortable. But I think it's just the fact that towards the end scene when he had to go back into the Ice King, that shit him getting sucked in, that like made me uncomfortable. It made me claustrophobic.
Dude, I thought he was gonna eat him.
I thought so too.
When I first watched that,
That would have been better.
When I was just like, please, it's gonna be more horrific. You watch this old man eat his own heart.
That's pretty metal.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy metal. Or like the best part where Jake's like, or Finn's like, should we let him get his heart back? He is a villain. And then Jake's like straight up, nah, I don't want to see an old man die on PB's carpet, dog.
It's so honest. It's like, not because I like the guy. This is the time and place. I'm not ready to see someone die.
Yeah.
Right in front of me on the floor. Ricardio, he's a fun one. I don't know. Again, it could have been one of those one-offs, and we know he comes back one other time. But here's my question. So, between this time we see Ricardio and the next time we see Ricardio is in Ice King the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as Ricardio. Like, he doesn't revert back to a normal heart. There's just a living, talking heart inside of Ice King. And I can't watch the show between seasons 1 and 4 and that not be on my mind. That there's a sentient heart creature inside of Simon right now.
That's fair.
When can we start calling him Simon? What season?
4.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they name dropped it before, but like that's the one where I can confidently call him Simon because now I see Simon before I see Ice King.
Do you know it would have been even crazier if Marceline calls him Simon like the first time they interact with each other? I say this without remembering how the original.
She doesn't call him Simon immediately, but
imagine just right out of the gate was just like, "Hey, Simon."
The first time we hear Simon is Holly Jolly Secrets in season 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first time. That was the season finale.
I saw that one live too.
Yeah. That we'll get to that later, not this episode, but that's the first time when you're like
lore,
actual like heavy shit. Like, oh my god,
the lore.
We're gonna move on to episode 8, Business Time, April 26, 2010.
Dude, this was a fun one. I love the promos they were doing for it with this business suit guys.
So in the Enchiridion, when they're going up the mountain, there are abandoned cars in the background. A lot of the design has some post-apocalyptic feelings to it, but at this point, the show was not set in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. This is the first episode that the crew worked on where they're like, what if it was post-apocalyptic? Like, there wasn't just, like, random pieces of like, debris laying around. Like straight up, like, what if this is after the end of days? And so you get the first major hints with the businessmen, who are human. Like, they tease, like, oh, Finn's the last human, but we see humans. Like, you can tell with Phil. Phil showed up a few times in the early seasons. It's the guy with the glasses. He's just straight up a human being, but the show wants to act like he's not.
Which one's Phil?
My jammies!
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
My glasses. That guy, Phil. He's also the symbol they use because it's based off one of the crew members who worked on the show.
Yeah.
The symbol of the Phil face also helps open the portal to the Ninosphere.
That's Phil?
That's Phil. It's the Phil face, they call it.
Can you do the Phil face?
that
Beautiful.
guy, we don't have a visual aspect.
But also, that's the face that's on the udder.
Mm-hmm.
Of the,
And
the
you'll
cow.
put that bag back
Put that
up.
bag back on. That's the Phil face, yeah. You see Phil a lot, but like Phil is a person. You see him, he's a human, but the show wants to act like he's not. Like, oh, we just slide him under the rug like he never happened. Then you get the businessmen. Like, yeah, they're zombie-like. I wouldn't quite say they're undead, because they're really not. They're thought-out businessmen from the pre-war times. They are human. Finn is not the last human. There are businessmen out there. Is no one going to talk about this? Like, there's fucking human beings just walking around in business suits.
I don't know.
It really seems. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It really seems that they kind of didn't. It's one of those situations where they didn't think that far. They just kind of doing a couple episodes, and then there's always a moment in a show where there's the switch where they're like, okay, we care about lore.
Right. It's few and far between. And also this episode, they establish a continuity here. It will also be broken, but also kept at the same time. And I'll explain more what that means when we get to it, because it's only a few episodes away. But when they're building the gauntlet, like the gauntlet dock, it's, no, not yet.
Oh.
With the
fought a bear.
we'll get to it. But the dock where there's like these guillotines and there's like fucking morning stars and all these traps and whatever and bombs and urchins they have or whatever they are. That dock will show up again later, and even though it's a bit of continuity that they establish, it still doesn't make sense. And I'll elaborate on that later. But the whole molding their fat into like the shape of like Princess Bubblegum or the Ice King when they get all lazy. I used to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You think it's a joke? I used to be able to mold my belly into people's faces. At least I thought I could. People said I could, but they were probably just humoring me because I was a child.
That's fair.
And I was wiggling my belly in front of them in public.
You're the naked child.
I mean, they used to call me the naked man when I was a kid. Because I'd run around butt ass naked and scream obscenities. And some things never change, but
That's fair.
that's like my takeaway from business time is I used to mold my fat into people's faces.
He said grab your ass.
No. Say grab your axe. Don't. Oh, there's so many, like, I remember seeing these videos back in the day of people being like, oh my god, Princess Bubblegum says the F word. Oh my god, they say this and that. I'm like, yeah, you thought they said it because you're 11 and you want to hear your cartoon say bad words, but if you want to hear bad words in your Adventure Time, wait till Fiona and Kate comes out.
Dude. That's going to be a kick-ass show.
Now, we're not going to make it in time, but we are going to talk about it. We're just going to be a little late to the party.
As we usually are.
So that's business time. Anybody got further thoughts?
You got to flambe it.
Flambe it. Oh, is this also our first appearance of Flambeau? Because they use Flambeau to power the flamethrower that flambés the iceberg.
I didn't know that.
He's on screen for a second. Next time you watch it, you'll see Flambeau, who is one of the best side characters in the entire show.
In the history of Adventure Time.
Like, straight up, all of Cartoon Network. Oh boy, howdy. This is another one of the early ones I saw. This came out May 3rd, episode 9, season 1, My Two Favorite People. You guys remember which one this is?
Yeah, do you?
This is the one with when Jake wants to get Finn and Lady Rainicorn to get to know each other better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All the peaches in the orchard. The
This-
farmer was so mad.
This is another heavily quoted one in the friend group. Thank you, Willow. Now, this one introduces Tiffany. Toward the end of the episode, the big reveal being that Finn wants to make.
Tiffany is a
boy.
Wait a minute. Not just is Tiffany introduced, I believe Shelby is introduced.
It's Shelby,
Yes.
the worm in the
It's in the viola, yeah. So we get two pretty important characters. Tiffany's more important than Shelby.
They're like Shelby.
I know you do, but that doesn't change the fact that would you believe me if I said in the overall grand scheme of things, like in Finn's life, I would say Mr. Fox and Tiffany are like really important, but you haven't got the distant lands yet. But I would Mr. Fox is really fucking important in the cosmology. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a heavy hitter, but I don't know. I like Shelby's inclusion as like because you know the expression "there's a worm in my ear." Shelby is very much the worm in Jake's ear, or should I say Viola, who's like giving them therapy and advice on how to be a better man.
I take advice from a worm about how to be a man.
I trust Shelby. I really do.
Oh yeah.
He knows what he's talking about. Like Shelby could have been a one-off character.
Yeah.
Check.
His catchphrase.
Mm.
I was gonna say it myself. I'm like, she just said it, so why do I need to say it?
Oh, what?
Check, please.
Foxy, you want to say it a little louder?
Say what a little bit.
Check, please.
Check, please.
There
Yes.
we go.
We got it on tape.
We
Boom,
got the
there
clip.
it is.
We got him.
Let's always be stupid. Let's be stupid forever.
Yeah.
Ah, another good quote from
Did
another
you
episode.
guys learn nothing? It's about the friends we made. Whatever the fuck they said.
Remember Spoopoo Mountain, episode 10 in season 1, May 3rd, 2010, garnered 1,065,000 views.
I'm naked.
Okay, is that the one quote from the episode? I'm naked. Willow saw that and she's like, "That's you! That's you!"
Dude,
I'm
dude,
naked.
dude, I think the quote is I can get behind the boom boom thing and I can respect that. But we're not whatever he said, it was something along the lines of with the boom boom and I can respect that. But how are we not gonna roughhouse?
How do you expect it's not the rough house? Yeah. It's like I love these they have a more professional name like in the lore, but I'm just calling them the roughhousers. Let's just call them that. The ruffians, the Vikings, whatever you want to call them. They're a great one-off, but they do show up again for the season premiere of season 2 of the Nightosphere.
Yeah.
They show up again,
And
and
they died.
they just
They're
gone. Like they literally die and they never show up again.
Yeah.
Did you just light a match? I smell a match. It smells really good. I don't know what it is.
Did I?
But it was just like overwhelming. Is that your cigarette that smells that good?
No.
I'm not a smoker like that, but I'm like, fuck, that smells good. I've never had that happen to me
It's a
before.
match. It's
Okay.
a match.
Okay, I thought so. We were introduced to Margaret and Joshua in this episode as well.
Margaret. Okay. I'm sorry. What episode are we on?
Memories of Boom Boom Mountain.
Oh
Her
yeah.
fucking parents.
Boom, boom.
It's a boom boom baby. You do it better. Do it.
Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom.
No.
I want you in my room.
Yes, but no. I think I'm talking about the Jake's dad. You do a better Jake's dad impression than I do.
What do you mean? You see what he should say? Hey, kissing that baby, Margaret. Hey, kissing you, Margaret. That's a boom boom, baby. Hey,
You
you ain't got no lemon for me.
you gotta wash those dirty lips. Whistle
Those
bubble.
dirty, dirty lips.
You watch those dirty, dirty lips, Margaret. You touched up a boom boom, baby.
The boom boom baby.
You say shock, people go, wait, fuck.
That I fell back into my own boom boom. And I was laying there for days in my own boom boom.
Dude, it's so traumatic. It's like haunting.
That's a boom boom, baby.
That's a bubble, baby bugger. I love Joshua and Mario. There's just not enough of them. But like it establishes that Finn was a baby at one point. This is important for the lore.
We had to know.
He fell in his boo boo, but then he was adopted by Jake's parents. Really, only one of them is his parent, but we'll talk about that later. But you didn't get. I don't think you got that far.
I didn't. What blew my mind is this is a big spoiler, but what I know is that he doesn't find his parents because he's afraid of the sea. Just crosses the sea. He's gonna go see his parents.
Yes. Yeah. In fact,
How do you just drop that on me in the middle of the Fear episode, and I already have a knowledge of like it's been like what is it, season 7, 8, where they finally meet his parents are shown, and we're sitting on the couch watching the Fear episode, and you're like, not only is that Mark Hamill, but you're also like, see that ocean there? Give it another couple seasons. That comes back.
I literally word it's just like that.
See that ocean? Just wait.
Just wait.
Give it a couple more seasons. All right. I love the whole montage with how Finn figures out how this fucking crybaby mountain. This guy gorgeous back though. There's that lady mountain that just wants to look at his back. Everyone wins, but just like the left, they want to perpetrate that this is how you fix things, but it's a momentary solution to all the problems, and he fixes it very momentarily. So when he leaves this village, I'm sure everything just goes to shit again. But for the meantime, it looks like it's fixed.
Because they one of those guys had to stop. Somebody's got a job.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to go home.
Like, this is domestic policy on display here. Like, how do we make everyone happy for the shortest amount of time? How do we
They made him happy though.
Yeah, that's all that matters. He made everyone happy, get the hell out of Dodge, and then everyone's problems resume.
I think all the issues could have been solved if
Kill the mountain.
yeah, just kill the mountain. He shuts up. She gets, excuse me, still a lot of Mountain Dew. He kills the mountain. The chick can still look at the back, and nobody's bitching about the roughhousing. Like he could have fixed it. Yeah.
Look, like eventually the plan Finn has is going to stop working, and when it does, everyone's going to be unhappy again. The best way to fix your problems in life is just kill it. Kill your problem, and then everyone's happy.
Kill your problem.
What? Like some people
why I
are
drink.
pussy.
Oh.
What? That's how you kill. You can kill the demon inside you with liquor.
What's the 2.5 bag quote? Where his son's vomiting in the toilet, and he's like, "Why do you do this?" And it's like, or it's like, "Why does it hurt so much?" And it's like, "Because you were drinking poison." And he's like, well, "Why do you drink so much?" Because I got things in me I want to kill.
You got your own fear feaster. Ooh.
That airplane.
Episode 11. Wizard.
Wizard?
Bufo. We are Bufo.
Hey,
Oh, it's that fucking dude.
you want some demon powers?
No, you want some wizard power?
You want some wizard powers? Something like mathematical. And then Jake's like, hey, wait. We can get something else out of it. You know, what else you got? Free wizard powers and crack and a free keychain.
This episode came out May 10th, 2010. And this is another early one I think most of us saw when it came out. I don't know. I feel like this is how do I feel about this? I fucking love it, but I'm like, why?
You have probably the best theory about this because I brought up the question. Well, if they had all these magic powers, why don't they ever use it again? And you said
Well, I think the robes are magic. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they actually give you magic powers. The robes themselves are magic.
So they get like a button. It's like, okay, you did that. You can use this power now. This power. This power. This power.
The robes are magical, so you get. That's why you'll see the robes later on, like season 3, the season 3 episode Wizard Battle,
Mhm.
and later on you'll see Bufo show up. You'll see the wizards show up. They have the robe on with the stars. And my
It's a
person,
cult.
you're literally not wrong. I shit you not, you're not wrong. It's like straight up a cult. But and it's not just any cult. It's like Heaven's Gate. It's a doomsday cult.
Yeah.
Except that Bufo was right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was right.
There's a giant comet hurtling toward the Earth, which is a
Is it Earth?
Yeah.
Okay.
post-apocalyptic Earth. Like for instance, you'll in Marceline's house. There's a picture of Mary holding baby Jesus. Have you ever noticed that?
I have not noticed that.
One episode with Maja the Sky Witch has a Batman symbol in the background. Simon regularly talks about ancient pop culture, like he straight up mimics an episode of Cheers and even sings the theme song.
That's pretty good.
So, yeah, it's Earth. It's our Earth.
The only reason why I question is because it would go through a portal, like a little demonic portal that has mouth. It's a mouth, and they're walking into the mouth.
Oh, yeah. So like
That's why I asked.
where
'Cause
the
typically-
Wizard Temple is, I take it as Earth because we see Bufo in later episodes. It's like I don't know. It makes sense, but it's interesting that there's a comet hurling toward Earth because that will become a plot point in season 6, and that's super important. But they divert it, and I love the inclusion of wood to censor their private parts.
Yeah.
The log of wood. In some countries, that was too crass for them, so what they did was they censored it with a beaver.
That's even funnier.
That's
To me, is
funny.
almost even more crass when you think about it. But they decided to go with a beaver instead. So there's episode if you see other airings of it internationally, there'll be a beaver on their crotch instead. Just, I don't know. Personally, I think that's funnier. But they're like, yeah, we can't have wood representing their wood. That's inappropriate. I don't know.
It's a woodchuck.
It's a witch.
It's Bucky.
Fucking Bucky. Every time I see a beaver, oh my god! it's a Bucky reference.
The lore is deep.
Dude, you saw a Bucky cop in the parking lot of an Asian restaurant. You're like, dude, let's go to Bucky.
It was already midnight.
It's
And I'm
fucking
like,
midnight. It's like it was a 2-hour drive to the nearest Bucky's. Like right now, let's go to Bucky's. Well, don't regret it. You can actually, I think
changed your lives forever.
there's pictures of it on Instagram of us taking a selfie with Bucky. We went around there asking, "Is Bucky here?"
No, he's only here on Saturdays. Damn it. And when we left to go to Bucky's, it became Sunday.
Oh yeah, we barely missed.
Sure.
We barely
Sure, that's how it was.
barely missed Bucky.
We get at Bucky's at 2:30 in the morning. We just missed him.
Dude, I remember asking the cashier, like, "Where's Bucky? Where he at?" That guy was cool.
Oh yeah.
He sold us those cigars, and that's where I got my cowboy hat.
Yeah.
$60.
Damn.
It's really cheap.
Sheesh.
It's really cheap if you know anything about cowboy hats.
This
Okay.
whole transition right there was funny. They both reacted to the price, and you're like, you know what? It wasn't even that bad.
Episode 12, evicted May 17th, 2010.
Continuity break.
This is the one. Marceline episode. So
It's sexy vampire queen.
they do say
So
that.
she plays bass, man. We don't got many of those. We got
She's an
Homer
icon.
Simpson. We got Marceline. I'm trying to think about it too. You think of any other animated characters that play bass other than Homer Simpson and Marceline the Vampire Queen?
How about any fictional character that plays bass?
Uh,
I don't remember the guy from Spinal Tap. So that's off the table.
Bonnie doesn't count because in their wiki they say that it's a 5-string guitar.
that's
Fuck.
that's bullshit.
No, that's cool.
I just thought of another one, but it's not like an actual like fictional like from a TV show. Montgomery Gator from Security Breach.
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim. You know what? Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
you're right.
that's a pretty good. We're also getting that anime soon.
Oh,
No. Oh yeah, we are, aren't we?
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim, Marceline the Vampire Queen, and Homer Simpson. That's pretty good.
when does Homer play the bass?
It gets one episode this one time, and the bass community is just never let go of it because we don't get many. See, we got some music in there.
Yeah, like, look, the thing about Marceline is I think
She's cool. That's the problem.
She's cool, she's hot, she's sexy, and it's okay because she's 1,000 years old. And not just that, but she's like the only icon I think bass players get. Like truthfully, within the animated fandom, I think she's like the number one iconic bass player, which is also an act, so there's an added level of cool. But we do get the lore drop that was her Treehouse before Finn and Jake. We get that kick-ass song by Pendleton Ward. I miss him singing songs. The house hunting song.
Yes.
And fuck that sexy man.
I love how he just kind of gives up on the lyrics, and he starts off rhyming, it just falls off at the end. It just evolves into this insanity.
Even for a bear.
That's Billy. That's Billy. That's Billy. Yeah, that's Billy. That's Billy boy. No, we get to Marceline's lair, and this is when it happens. Okay, guys, this is when I realized
this is where it happens.
Adventure Time became unwatchable. Because guess who was at the party that Marceline was hosting?
Is it?
Our guests to guess who was at this party.
What was the party?
The housewarming party that Jake and Finn did.
Oh, Marceline.
Tree Trunks. Tree Trunks
The MILF was there, the cougar, whatever you want to call it.
She was
in the background, completely breaking continuity because at this point in time, she's supposed to be in the crystal dimension. However, we do see from later seasons that some of the episodes actually do move around in time, and it's very possible that this episode just takes place after crystals have power. It's possible, but I think they just fucked up. That's probably what
I
happened.
think it's before. I think it happens before.
Oh, I should have said your mama when you asked.
Yeah, that's your bad. Good.
I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on the fact that she pulled Scott Pilgrim out. That's pretty good. I completely forgot about that. It's been so long since I've seen Scott Pilgrim.
That was a good movie. Oh.
It is a good movie.
Episode 13, Season 1. This is a fan favorite. I know, especially with Moxie and Slug here. City of Thieves, May 24th, 2010.
Hands down the best episode. Did we need another one? Did
Yeah.
we need another episode after that?
No,
After City of Thieves? Did we?
We didn't.
Could Adventure Time just air this one episode and that's it?
Yeah.
Close up shop, boys, go home?
Yeah, you nailed it. Why would you need to do it again? You
Yeah.
want to see me run to that mountain? You want to see me do it again?
You gonna tell Sam Raimi that when he directs another Evil Dead movie? No, you're not.
I was going to say that to Sam Raimi when he makes Spider-Man 4, which is supposedly in the works.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
God, I hope so. Like, the ideas he had for Spider-Man 4 were so good.
Like immediately after seeing Spider-Man 3, I remember seeing all the speculation and rumors about 4. And it was cool. You read like parts of what it was supposed to be, right?
Script, yeah. It was supposed to open with Mysterio being caught.
God.
The Vulture was going to be in it. What I want to see is the Scorpion.
Yeah, because he was played by the same actor that plays Ignacio in Better Call Saul. Same actor who plays him in the in Spider-Man Homecoming. He's in the movie. Like the Scorpion is in the movie, but he's not like Scorpion yet.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not fair. We got him in live action. We got his ass in live action 4K, but it
You
really
just don't
doesn't.
do it.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't.
like Michael Keaton's Vulture though.
Hell, Miles Morales' uncle, who's the Prowler, played by Donald Glover,
Yeah.
is also there and mentions he's got a nephew called Miles
Yeah.
in Homecoming, and nobody talked about it. Nobody.
This is a lot of missed opportunities, but what I heard is that they're making Spider-Man 4, Amazing Spider-Man 3, and then that they're going to be working on a fourth Tom Holland Spider-Man. And they say that, well, from what I've been reading, Amazing Spider-Man 3 is going to have Tom Hardy come in as Venom.
I hope. They've been teasing him
Please.
for like years now.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it makes sense that we wouldn't get him because the guy from the 70s show plays Venom.
Yep.
Red's kid.
You know what's not a waste of potential though?
What?
City of Thieves.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love the way it starts with Finn trying to imitate Jake on stilts. He should have died.
Honestly,
Like
yeah.
full disclosure, like when Jake trips Finn, he should have died. There's quite a few
Yeah.
times in this season where I'm like, no, he's just fucking dead. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
Or when he fucking kills Ice King.
Yeah.
He's like literally kills him. Like the actual location of the City of Thieves is so unique, and like all throughout season one, they're throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks. That's all they're doing is what's a cool idea, what'd be fun to do, what would work. This is one of those ideas that should have stuck. And it never did. We never see the City of Thieves ever again.
Really?
It's not even mentioned, and I'm pretty sure we never see. Well, I know we don't see Penny again.
Really?
Nope. And I would like, to me, it's one of those ideas that should have been revisited later, where Penny takes over as like the Princess of Thieves, Penny Princess or Princess Penny takes.
We could see it in Fiona and Cake.
Well, I
A
don't know. We'll
grown-up
see.
Penny.
We'll see. I don't know. I have a few theories about that.
What would Fiona and Cake's Penny be? What's a female version of the name
Pat.
Penny? Pat, yeah.
Yeah.
Patty. Let's call him Patty. He's wearing that same hat you're wearing now.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a
He's
fan.
wearing that exact.
Don't
same
ruin
hat.
my own head canon because your butt hurt.
I'm not butthurt. I'm drunk, and there's a difference. Listen here, guy sitting over there. Listen here. Penny should have been a recurring character. She should not have been gender swapped. She wasn't, thank God, because people know better than you. And most importantly, I don't know which point I'm on. I think this is the third one. Most importantly, the City of Thieves should have returned in a later episode where Penny was a princess, took over, and I want to see an older, wiser, more battle-hardened, mature Finn take on Penny later and see if he could test his moral code then. Because I like the moral quandary of a City of Thieves where everyone steals. But it's never revisited again, and I feel like that is a waste of potential. That's how I feel. Now, there's a few other interesting things about the animation. I know I've said this a few times, but there's a few moments of animation that's very reminiscent of like Rocco's Modern Life in this episode.
Yeah.
With a few character designs. And I'm glad they're experimenting with the art style, but they never really do it again unless it's a guest animated episode. But there's a few really cool moments of experimental art styles they have in here. And I really appreciate it. You agree?
I think the best part about the episode is just the goddamn boots, man. You gonna tell me I'm wrong? That Jake's best quote is when he's talking about the boots
It's not his best quote.
in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love how he doesn't remember stealing them either.
No,
Fucking little klepto. I love him. But
those
were nice boots.
yeah, those were some really nice boots. Like the Wicked Witch of the East that she takes the ruby slippers from.
Yeah.
There's those kind of vibes, just cowboy
Uh-huh.
boots,
Yeah.
like crystal cowboy boots.
Uh,
So what would happen if Willow went to Oz? You want to
You
take
don't want me the second I see a little munchkin, it's over.
on site?
Discrimination against munchkins?
But yeah, those boots are pretty cool, and I would probably stick with shoes.
You're
Yeah.
the reason the munchkin hung himself.
Oh,
I think that my favorite part about City of Thieves is the actual the design of the city itself. I think it's very gritty wouldn't be the word that I would use initially.
Dirty. Like,
They would use glizzy straws in the City of Thieves. You gonna tell me I'm wrong?
No. I think that it because even with the different kingdoms that I've seen, they seem more fantastical. Especially with like the Candy Kingdom and the Ice Kingdom and all that type of stuff. This one seems very I don't
The
have
word you're looking for.
Hmm?
It's the word you're looking for.
it seems more like
I got a dictionary in the other room.
We know a few words.
it's
Come up
realistic
with some descriptions.
realistic wouldn't be the word that I would use.
Grounded.
Grounded. There
Okay,
we
here
go.
we go.
Realistic as far as like it's a hive of villainy and
Skid Row.
scum. It's Skid Row, yeah.
It's a Skid Row if it was a city.
Or like Atlanta if it was an ooh. Boom, there you go. I like the very like tonally you got these light brown octagon shapes that form the ceiling of which is the inside of the turtle shell.
Mhm.
It adds a very muted color palette that's easy on the eyes, and so it's a very pleasant episode to look at, despite how like grimy the city's supposed to be. Because the rest of the show is very bright, very colorful. Even episodes where it's dark, like in Dungeon, this one's very easy. Like there's not a lot of browns in the show. This one has a lot of muted browns. They're very pleasant to look at.
that's a very good observation.
It's very interesting as well because Finn and Jake actually stand out in the City of Thieves, and I think that adds also to especially Finn's purity because he's later on in the episode he gets dirtied by his crimes, but then he gets cleaned off. But
Sorry, go ahead.
They're both very colorful, and I think that was just another visual element that helps them stand out from the city. And that's basically it.
I think it's pretty sus that Finn gives Penny a bath.
No, what's really weird is he's like, we're gonna go purify this little girl. Well, first off, they're like 11th century crusaders. Barton, we're gonna purify this city immediately before Finn even walks through the door. I'm about to kick everybody's ass in here. They think, oh, a bunch of City of Thieves. I will murder everybody. Like he has no problem walking over, calling everyone. This one guy a turtle. It just like walks in like I am about to wreck everyone's day, and then wants to claim purity, but then. He gets tricked by Penny, and when he finds this out, and that he's actually stolen something, when he goes to her, he's got fucking what's the weapon that Elektra has from Daredevil?
Size.
The size.
Yeah.
He goes in there.
Not Michelangelo. Raphael uses
Same thing. He's got to have another reference in there to show me up.
them.
Yes, Raphael uses them too. He goes in there, practically threatens her, holds her at knife point, essentially, and then proceeds to be like, how's he word it? I'm gonna purify you?
I will put purification in you. Or something like
Pulls
that.
out a bar of soap with this little girl and just holds her down. I'm like, is it that easy to get rid of sin? Like, I know in traditional baptism, like that's supposed to clean you and everything, but I'm like, I didn't hear him like say the name of Christ or anything. He held down the little girl and proceeds to wash her with soap. And is that how law works? If I take a bath, am I clean?
Well, remember in the episode, she was just like, "Oh, all of the all of the weight and grime from my crimes is gone, and then proceeds to steal his clothes. So
Oh yeah, it's all bullshit. But like the general concept that if I just take a bath, I can murder whoever I want and clean. Huh?
Took his fucking clothes.
yeah, left
His
his
back.
took his shirt and his
Man,
pants,
where'd your
left
clothes
his
go,
shoes and his
Finn?
socks.
It was only fair. He bathed her, so she fucking stole his clothes.
Dude, if she runs out of the tent, we never see what happens. If she runs out of the tent screaming that Finn touched her, I mean, what's his alibi?
Jake?
Jake
That's
was in
even
a club.
worse.
Yeah.
Jake would leave with the boots. Say, fuck this, I'm out. But what, Finn? Why are you in this little girl's tent with no clothes and in little size? How do you explain that to the? I was about to say, how do you explain that to the authorities? But it's the city of thieves. No one gives a shit. That's a terrifying
The
concept.
banana guards don't have just jurisdiction over there.
No, well, as we previously established earlier in the show, the boundaries of the Candy Kingdom apparently extend to at least the grasslands, but we don't know where the city of thieves are. We're gonna move on now. It's episode 14, season 1. Episode, I don't think one of you guys isn't too fond of it. The Witch's Garden, June 7th, 2010.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah, that was okay.
I remember
I
this
think-
came out too.
I think the witch was pretty funny, but
Yeah,
Like the designs and
Apology
everything.
to
were-
die.
apologies.
The donut garden and
Let
everything.
this be a lesson to you.
It's a bagel!
see, it is a good episode. See, you guys are laughing. It's a funny episode.
Like it
It's-
has cool stuff in it, like a fucking bagel donut garden. It's got like that one like trash
It's got that sexy
witch
trash
bird
witch.
thing.
Wood,
Mm-hmm.
Wood.
Yeah.
sexy mermaid, fly mermaid.
Oh yeah, mermaid, whatever the heck that is. But like it's cool.
It's a
but
bird chick.
as
It's like
far
a
as-
harpy.
Go ahead, Will. Go ahead.
no, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. Go ahead, Slug. Go ahead.
Take it away.
Take it away. Yeah.
So you got the sexy harpy chick, right? Who's also a mermaid. You got the bagel chick who's screaming at her donuts. you got the fucking his conscious there too.
No. His subconscious.
His subconscious, excuse me.
Doesn't even watch it much time.
Yeah, I don't.
She was
I've been-
filming him dance with his subconscious for her newsletter.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Dude,
This is
I
so
get
much
so
fetish
mad.
fuel.
Some
What?
people fucking what? What?
Continue with what you're talking about.
No, I'm gonna take a
Hello?
pause. We're gonna pause the conversation. Hello?
I just said this early season's a lot of fetish fuel.
That is a very loaded statement to have.
My man, do
I
you want to
refuse to
elaborate?
elaborate. I refuse.
All right, we can move on to the next episode. No, I really like the. Well, no, what really spoke to me about the episode is I actually love old fashioned donuts. Doesn't have any glaze, doesn't have any sprinkles, doesn't have anything on it. I wish a motherfucker would tell me it's a bagel. You know how many times people tell me it's a bagel? Oh, you're just eating a bagel? No, it's a donut, dumbass.
But they don't know the difference.
Yeah, they don't. People
They're
don't know.
uncultured.
You've never been in that situation.
I have been in that
where
situation
someone has
at
told
least 3
you,
times.
"Oh, that's a bagel."
Belle did that to me. We're gonna dox her on the podcast. She did that to me. Yeah. Fuck out of my face. I don't care if you're 7.
I'm pretty sure that my brother did that as well. Like something tells me that
He did it to me too. I'm like, yeah.
This has never come up.
I'm having a great time with my old fashioned donut, and somebody's just like, "Oh, you like that bagel?"
Go fuck yourself.
No,
This
it feels like an attack on me as a person.
Your
with-
character is in question.
It's like it's like they're questioning who you are as a man.
yeah,
That
you're
eat
gonna
a
come
bagel
to me.
with no cream cheese on it. Who eats a bagel without cream cheese?
It's not a plain bagel. It's a fucking donut.
And also bagels bagels are split.
Trademark that.
Bagels, yeah. Bagels are typically split in half unless it's like a sandwich. So they just thought that you were just raw dogging an unsplit bagel.
Whoa! What? That's a way to say
You
it.
gonna raw dog a bagel, Chandler?
Grapefruit. Am I going to continue with that statement? No, I'm not.
I don't have
Next
any.
episode.
I don't have any more to say about this episode.
Well, I do want to say the way it begins. Do you guys remember how it starts?
It's
Unrelated.
Oh,
to
the
rest of
frog.
the frog with the crown.
Yeah.
That becomes a series of shorts. Way later, it's explained what that frog is doing with the crown. That they just straight up an answer to it. Comes up later. Is this a chair? A chair for my butt? Oh, the inconsistency with Jake, of course, not remembering where he came from or how he got his magic powers. So it's like, I'm sure there's like a mud puddle, like maybe 4, maybe even 5, where he got his magical powers from. As we find out later, that's complete bullshit, but interesting to think that that's what he thought. I'm very envious of his body type, though. I'm working on it. Episode 15, Season 1. What is Life? June 14th, 2010. This is the Nectar one. The one that throws the never-ending pies? Yeah, that
Yeah.
Oh, pray Jake forever.
Beginning with Jake casually walking into the treehouse with a bag of butter. Tell me if there's a better prank than that. And then throwing it in the Finn's face. I want you to name right now, out of all the Jackass films you've seen, out of all the pranks you've done, name a better prank.
Dude, what would happen?
Did they ever throw a bag of butter in someone's face? No, they didn't.
That was the first time I've ever seen it.
How do you react to that? Like, what do you do if someone throws a bag of
I don't
butter?
know if I'd be mad.
Shock.
What if I like threw a pie at your face?
I have pie now.
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
It's food. I'm hungry.
Yeah, but butter.
What if you were in a bad mood and I did that?
I'm probably in a better mood than that pie.
I have
I have
pie
a
now.
question for you, Willow.
Hmm.
Are you planning on doing this?
You gonna pie me?
Can you pie me too?
Next episode.
We just started.
Now
Mm,
I'm
could be
expecting
two-parter.
Willow to set up one of those old school cartoon contraptions
Bring
with a
back that-
spring loaded
Some like Dr. Seussian type device.
that
Or
like
s-
whenever Slug opens up the fridge and then just gets a face full of
Gotcha,
pie.
bitch.
Gotcha,
Jig-
bitch.
Jigsaw, but with pies.
Yeah.
No, you're never safe now. Always be alert.
I have never felt safe.
I especially do not feel safe now that I know. The look
What
of
the
my
fuck's
shoulder.
that mean? I don't
Fuck
fucking hate you.
Just fucking with it.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Cracking rum.
Do you go home and have domestic disputes? Do you go in your workplace? Do you have domestic disputes? Well, call me.
I'll take care of your problem.
Sponsored by a lawyer.
Sponsored by my 44 Magnum. Please hit me up.
I can solve a select few problems can be solved with this.
I'd
Pay
argue
me.
a
Select options.
Have a bully at school.
Yeah, ooh.
Ooh. Moxie, what was that?
That was
What did you say?
I.
What did you just say? Something about school bullying?
I I am going to distance myself away from that one,
It's fair.
Smart decision.
and I have completely forgot what I was going.
Well,
to
I
say.
don't want
You took the ship down with you, man.
Now, I personally feel really distant from this glass of Jack. So, if you'd be so kind, could you hand me the bottle of Jack Daniels? Thank you.
Do you suffer from alcoholism? Does a friend or family member suffer from alcoholism?
Yes.
Me,
Well, here's how you can change it.
Christ.
Get help.
Oh,
Stop. Get some.
Now stop it.
Get yourself a 4-piece McNugget. Or a Big Mac.
A Big Mac.
You alright there, buddy?
hot going all the way down.
Yeah, liquor does that.
All right. So this is the episode that proves that Ice King is God and he has the power to grant life.
Fair.
He got himself a Big Mac is what happened.
What happened was he has the power to literally grant life, and we'd never see this come up again. Also, there's asshole balloons.
like legit thought that made Finn think that he was about to like actually die.
They splatter him all over the ground. Yeah, that's a prank. I've held you at gunpoint, right, Slug?
Yes.
Did you know it was a real gun?
What?
That's the joke. I didn't know.
That's how you prank somebody, guys. If you want to really prank somebody, a bag of butter and a gun will do it.
Sounds like you're on the debate.
With a bag of butter?
Oh, the gun!
No, a bag of butter and a gun.
I mean,
You can't tell me when
the
you
butter's aside.
when you butter the guards, right? They're gonna be more concerned with what the fuck just happened than that you're running in there with just bags of butter to rob the bank.
All right, put it in.
There's so many dual purposes for the bag. Think about it. Not just can I can butter the guards, and I can use the bag to put the money in.
But then you got butter covered money.
It'll be easier to find you too. This is butter covered money you're giving.
They're not going to find me. I have a gun.
And butter.
They can follow me.
It's the butter police, Chandler. They're gonna find you. You use too much butter.
I'm an American with a gun. I'm the most powerful force to be reckoned with. I like to see them try. Episode 16, Ocean of Fear. June 21st, 2010. I should also say this was written by J.G. Quintel, Cole Sanchez, but mostly J.G. Quintel is the most important part about this.
What did the other person do? Do we know anything?
I can read their wiki.
I only say this because you just went hard in the paint, just dragging this person before. Cause I don't know who this was. I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt before you just whatever. It's
They were storyboard artists for the Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. Formerly, it's a he. Why did they think Cole was a female? It's so weird. Formerly, he was a supervising director on Long Live the Royals and has since returned to Adventure Time to direct the last 2 seasons. He is currently supervising producer on the series Summer Camp Island. He's work on Adventure Time gained him a Primetime Emmy Award. So apparently this guy's a big deal, but I've never heard of him. So I'm just going to mention J.G. Quintel.
because he made regular show.
Yeah, he made regular shows, so that's kind of important.
Fuck that other guy.
So Mark Hamill, just like in the Enchiridion, doesn't reprise his role, but he returns.
Who does he voice in Enchiridion? Mark Hamill?
Yeah, he's the guy in the black cloak, the skeleton in the black cloak. He's like,
Oh,
kill
yeah.
this unalive ant. Is he
he's
evil?
also in the Wizard episode, right?
No, it's a different one.
Hey kid, he wants some demon.
Yo, put that bag back on.
The amount of repeated quotes. So Mark Hamill plays the Fear Feaster. He apparently lives in Finn's belly button. Did you know that?
I learned that day. Wait, what day was it?
Yeah.
What day was it, Chandler?
I can tell you exactly. On June 21st, 2010, Slug learned that there's a fucking Fear Feaster in Finn's belly button. You'll same dude. I was there.
Yeah.
That's where I keep the fear too.
Oh, in your belly button?
Yeah.
Mine's in the vault.
That's
I
also,
got a few things in the vault. We're
that's
not
also
opening.
the Richardson reference. Good job. Now, this
On
one
fire.
This one has some lore. So, other than Poots on Newts, which is incredibly important for the lore, also the Newt stole boots. I think it's a bit hypocritical that Jake is pooting on a Newt, despite the fact that Jake also stole boots in the City of Thieves. But because a Newt stole boots, now he needs a poot on the Newt. I just think it's a bit hypocritical. But the most
Leave me
important.
alone. You guys stop.
I mean, is that like an honest reaction to get it pooted on?
Dude, it was just some motherfucker just wouldn't stop farting on me. I would be pretty fucking like, just, God, come on.
Like, you know me really well. I've farted you on a number of occasions, and it pisses you off. Imagine a complete stranger doing it.
I was constantly doing it.
Like one time I could understand it maybe being an accident, but like the second time
On me?
on me, like especially if I'm wearing like my favorite sweater or something.
I gotta burn this shit now.
I need to verify for you right now, every time I have farted on you, which granted isn't too much, every time I have farted on you, it has been intentional. I want you to go to sleep tonight knowing this information. I
The
farted
way
it
he
all over.
He's not.
the way he just crossed his arms, you guys are gonna have a conversation.
Come near me. I've been building up some gas. I
I'm
defy
staying over
you.
here.
hey,
I defy you to come near me.
hey, me and Willow ain't trying to catch no strays right now.
We're not.
This is some
Do you want to get
buckshot.
farted up?
This fart is some buckshot. The door is closed. Why do you think I locked it previously? This is my own gas chamber. I dare you. I defy you. All right.
I'll take myself out.
I took myself home.
This is the reason why there's no guns in the room. I'd be the first target. Let's see. Now, with Ocean of Fear, I think the biggest lore takeaway is this is the first time we see human civilization, and it's under the ocean. There's a lot of dead people, like sitting in couches watching TV under the ocean. I think, like
That's
conception,
funny.
like
Dead people under the ocean, frozen in time.
like conceptually, that's super dark, but the episode never plays into it. But like, there's straight up dead people all over the ocean floor, never played into. It's just interesting. Now, here's what I was referring to earlier. So the dock that they build in business time, or should I say that ocean? They go in the ocean, like they jump off the dock, go in the ocean, and they don't talk about it. But in this episode, Finn's terrified of the sea when he just got in the sea a few episodes ago.
Right. Some continuity issues there.
Now, the same doc shows up in the season 2 finale with the Lich. It shows up again very briefly. They go down that same beach. But the fact that Finn is afraid of the ocean in this episode, bless you, but he's not afraid of it in the episode in which he jumps into it.
Bless you.
Thank you.
It's pretty funny. I think the whole gag with Jake doing the step-by-step process of trying to get Finn to conquer his fear is super relatable too.
Yeah.
Because I've been placed in certain. Okay, for instance, everyone knows I have a fear of ants.
Yeah.
So I was on a long car ride a few months back, and somehow all these ants got in the vehicle I was riding in, and I'm in the back seat, and there's fucking ants everywhere. But because I'm leaving for a prolonged period of time, stuck in a vehicle, I can't say anything about it. So I'm armed with a napkin, just like crushing ants everywhere I find them. It was the most terrifying experience, but now it's like exposure therapy. And like Finn's face when he had to sit there and let the water touch him was the same way I felt when I had ants on me.
Oh.
It was like I was like convulsing, about to have an aneurysm. My eyes about to pop out of my head. But exposure therapy works, guys. You get with the program or you don't.
You either sink or swim.
I mean, in this case, like quite honestly, yeah. And what did he do? He decided to knock himself out. Instead of facing his fear, he knocked himself out and appeared on the bottom of the ocean, which is fair. I'll give it to him. I think he was being a coward, but he was also being brave at the same time.
It's baby steps. He needs to go one step at a time.
Any thoughts about season 1?
I'm afraid of the ocean.
Season 1?
You have thalassophobia? Or, excuse me, Ocean of Fear. You said you have thalassophobia?
Yeah.
You want to explain it?
I think it's just the same thought that I have about like space and why I'm afraid of aliens like so much. Because I don't know what's in there. Like I'm on shore. I'm at a good level. I'm not like in the ocean. I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. But any farther than that, the waves pushing you back, and you just keep getting further and further and further. What if they don't like? If the lifeguard doesn't get you in time, if the boat doesn't get you in time, and something snaps you down, we don't know what's in that ocean. We don't know what's in space.
Not to compound your fear anymore, but we do technically know more about space than we do about our own.
The surface of Mars has been mapped out better than the Earth's oceans.
I'm good. See, I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Get my little beach selfies, and then I'm good.
And it's actually funny because not even like deep ocean, but like when you're boating and you're like out on sea, there's a point where you won't be able to tell ocean from sky. It'll just blend.
also, just everyone who's been to the beach can attest to this. Currents,
Oh yeah.
riptides, stuff that's not even alive. Like we're so worried about sharks and sea monsters and like living things that can get us, but we don't even account for the fact the ocean itself is deadly enough. The ocean itself will kill you.
Or even like not even that. Like coral. If you step on like coral or barnacles, you're gonna fuck your entire foot up.
I did.
It's horrible.
I fucked my foot on a big mound of barnacles. There was so the ocean. So there's like this little carnival area, and there's a bunch of runoff uh, coming from like an estuary, some marshland, and it's instead of the ocean running into that, it's this of course draining out into the ocean. And but of course, when high tide happens, the water starts mixing, and it creates this big whirlpool in between. But I went under this bridge where a bunch of people were throwing their trash. It was despicable. Saw a trash can right there. But I went under the bridge and went to where the marshland was. Right next to that, there's a ramp, like a concrete ramp comprised of shells and rocks that goes up to where this abandoned little carnival was. Reminded me of Roxy Raceway from Security Breach.
I remember you calling me about it because you were like, "Oh my god, it's like Roxy's Raceway." You led the story with that. You didn't.
Well, that same conversation on the phone with you led to us talking about alternate history with JFK's assassination. So that was a crazy phone call. But anyways, well, I went into this little inlet and I fucked my foot up on a like 1 foot long amalgamation of coral and barnacles. It was all amalgamated the one giant piece of like a solid mass. And I shredded my foot on. The second I touched it, I'm like, yeah, that's a problem. Let me just sit here for the next 30 minutes before looking at it. Because if I look at it, it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
You feel that way? Like if you hurt yourself, you're like, if I look at it, I'll feel more pain.
I cut my thumb making food earlier this week, and it was decently deep. And I was like, "Ooh, I need to just keep that underwater and just not."
Threw up
Not look.
yesterday. I couldn't look at it because if I kept looking at it, I would throw up more. And I kept looking at it, so I threw up more.
That makes sense to me.
It's bad, man. It's rough. But that finger thing. What's the word that I'm trying to tell you?
You know?
You're a trooper.
You did a good job.
Oh, I cut my finger on metal moving your washer, bleed all over the place, and still have to move it to the dumpster.
Job's not finished.
I get no
bitches.
No bitches.
Oh.
No brownie points. I bled for you.
I know.
And then you bled for me because I brought you some Angry Orchard. You cut it open and split your hand open.
God,
I got him open.
that was another
That's
thing.
not the let's not lie here, Chandler.
It's not jumble words.
I got those damn bottles open.
And they were damn delicious. I thank you for your sacrifice.
Yeah, you taste a little blood nose?
Why does that sound like an adventure type quote?
There's a little blood.
When Wedding Bell, actually, I had blood on me because me and him shook hands.
We did a blood pack, yeah.
What is this?
Willow is showing the cast here a picture. Garfield's. It's a Garfield plushie on Amazon.
That looks like Milo.
It does look like my dog.
Don't even lie. You know, it looks just like him.
My dog is
Episode 17.
precious. He's my baby boy.
Episode 15, right?
17. When Wedding Bells Thaw. June 28th, 2010.
Thank you, dude. Thanks, cool, dude.
This is my least favorite.
Which one is this?
When Wedding Bells Thaw. This is when Ice King's trying to get married.
Oh, this is
Oh, yeah.
He gets married to Jake at the end.
Yeah, I know which one this one is.
I'm just like, it's
Whatever.
whatever.
That's how we got married.
He mentions it like 4 seasons later. It's it's alright, like, you know.
Yeah, it's alright.
Well,
Overrated as fuck. It's alright.
I'm not gonna sing its praises, but I do think the montage where they're trying to have like according to Ice King, they're having a bachelorette party. So they're having the bachelorette party for Ice King. That's not how that works. And then, like, the whole time, he's like, oh, you mean when I marry someone, it's like capturing a princess, but forever?
I mean, yeah.
But here's the problem: when he sees, it's like an Ed Gein, it's like an Ed Gein type of twisted way of looking at it. He sees a swan eat another swan. He's like, "That's what love is, keeping you inside me." So you tell me, Ice King's in the vor?
He's always been in a war.
Oh,
You
did I
know
miss?
that?
Did I
Yeah.
miss some subtle hints in
Yeah.
the other episodes?
Yeah.
All I gotta say is,
Why do you?
why'd you look at Moxie? Like, you know, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You're on my side. You know what I'm saying? Like, no.
God damn it.
Any thoughts on it? It's pretty alright. It's whatever.
I mean, it's an episode in season 1.
It
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah.
But you know what it's not? It's not episode 18, Dungeon, premiere July 12, 2010. That's what it's
Frank,
not.
the human boy.
Dude, oh my god. The fucking... the cat.
We're both the cat.
There's the yeah, you and me have an approximate knowledge of most things. Like, we don't know, like, we're not, like, experts in one topic, but we know enough to talk about anything. Like, you and me can literally talk about any topic, but there's gaps. And just like with the cat, he's on screen for a few minutes, and he's already, like, iconic in my mind.
Does he ever come back?
No. Not for a cameo. I'm sorry.
Stupid.
His design's really cool, but I like the whole, I don't know, the whole dungeon thing. You have a story involving a gelatinous blob, don't you?
I think I told it already, though.
Have you?
Yeah, a few times, actually.
On the show?
Yeah.
Well, this is, anyways, this is a reference to that.
Yeah.
It's actually interesting because the cat design actually kind of invokes the design of a Displacer Beast, which is another
You're right.
D&D monster.
You're right. Good. See, first off, everyone should know, not just does Moxie here really enjoy Lord of the Rings and fantasy,
And
but
dropping his phone.
is that my phone?
No, that was my phone. I was hoping no one would say anything about it.
Perfect timing.
I'm also, not me, but Moxie's also a dungeon master that does D&D campaigns. And so, of course, would have an intimate knowledge on an episode called Dungeon in Adventure Time. It can point out all the little tropes of D&D. It's pretty funny, and I like the whole camaraderie of Finn and Jake, like normal. Their dynamic's great, but they work in tandem. They have to work together in order to solve the piece of the puzzle. And I like that, because Finn's always been like a go off on his own type, and we even see later in season 4 with Another Way that he wants to go on his own and do his own thing. And I relate to that, I really do. But without your other piece of the puzzle, like this podcast, I couldn't just sit here and talk for 3 hours. I need people here to be more interesting than me. That's why you guys are here. It's like you guys complete that puzzle. And I like that dynamic that they have in that episode. We're going to move on now to episode 19. You like this one, Slug. You like this one. The Duke, July 19th, 2010.
Big fan of this one. I think it's wholesome. PB starts showing some colors. Some not pretty colors.
It's the first time I think we've seen that side of her. Because she's all been, well, bubblegummy and very happy.
A lack of better word, yeah.
Yeah, a damsel in distress. This is the first time. So there's a terrorist attack on the Candy Kingdom. Alright?
Full disclosure.
So Finn and Jake are playing with biological weapons in a ditch outside a government building. And they end up throwing one shaped like a boomerang into the window of Princess Bubblegum, which takes her straight to stage 4, takes out all her hair, turns her green.
Did you just say take?
and she comes out and she's just pissed. And she immediately blames the Duke. Now, here's my thing. The fuck did the Duke do? He ate her pudding?
Yeah. Getting down on her pudding, dog.
God, I wish. But, like, she hates him, like not just like politically, like oh he's a political rival.
Even on that basis, why would they be rivals? They're not trying to run the same city.
It makes no sense.
You know,
Wait, is the Candy Kingdom like a Spartan city state where women hold all the power and the men are relegated to soldiers?
it's probably why she doesn't like the Duke being a leader.
He's a man.
Yeah.
That's
It's Barbie all over again.
fashion, full circle. I don't know. The Duke's a fun character. I like the voice actor. Also, the angry squirrel's introduced in this one too.
You son of a
Bleep.
blob.
Jake, Jake.
Huh? What?
Do you remember me? No.
Yes, but I'm not alone.
The son of the Duke of Nuts comes in.
Prince
oh
of nuts.
the Prince of Nuts. Yeah.
I
Oh,
thought this was the pie episode.
you talk about Neptune? The one Neptune? That was like 10
No,
episodes.
no, not pie. It's like the royal pies or something.
Oh,
like
the royal
The
tarts.
Tarts,
The
that's
royal
what they were.
tarts. It's a little later.
that.
Yeah, we'll get to that one pretty soon. Yeah, but let's get to Freak City, episode 20, July 26, 2010. I should preface this with in the community, which I'm clearly a part of, a big fan, I'm your local lore expert here. A lot of people don't like Freak City.
It's alright.
It's kind of boring.
It's not as bad as like Donnie.
I'm going to the city and save the babies. Only the babies. Jake's got a sinister streak this season. The whole premise of Magic Man just popping out of nowhere, turning birds inside out, and I love. There's no lesson. Like Magic Man didn't do this because he wanted to teach them a moral lesson. No, he's just an asshole, and I think that's the biggest lesson you can learn is that there's not always a lesson to learn.
Some
It's
people just suck.
Some people are just out here to ruin your day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Magic Man's got a crazy story arc, bro. But in this episode, he's just out here taking names, taking lives. You know how he be. And I'm so stupid. I was such a stupid kid. Anytime I heard the Heart song, Magic Man, I thought Heart was singing about Adventure Time. It didn't even occur to me they're about 40 years apart. And then I grew a brain when I became conscious.
That happens to most of us.
Yeah, but it usually happens when you're 4. Mine was a little later. I was like 13 before I gained like self-awareness. I don't know. Like, do you think they're tonsils or do you think they're testicles?
The fuck are we talking about?
Remember they get treated the body parts?
Oh yeah, they're testicles straight up.
Like, you'd see it too, right? They're not tonsils don't look like.
No.
I mean, I've never had them removed, but I imagine they don't look like balls.
I mean, it's a fair observation, but you also got to consider maybe half of half of the population of the world don't have balls, and they might not be as familiar with how they look.
But you're saying so more people are familiar with how tonsils look than balls?
Probably, because everybody's got tonsils.
But no one looks at them.
I still have mine.
Even people who don't have balls look at balls. They see the balls, even if you don't have them. I've never seen my tonsils in my life, bro. I've never seen anyone's tonsils in my life.
I've seen a lot of tonsil removal videos.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
They kind of look like kidneys.
That is a very niche thing to have seen.
Granted, I do watch a lot of videos on the tube about people popping pimples. You know, on that TLC, the Dr. Pimple Popper. You know.
I know. I have a friend who loves those videos and watches them all the time, but I cannot.
Okay, you can't be like, oh my god, I love all these pimple popping videos, and then proceed to give the reassuring sound of just licking your lips. God, I love Dr. Pimple Popper.
Side Baba Beats and a Chianti. I don't know. I think it's fine. The most important thing it does is it introduces Magic Man. There's some funny bits, but for the most part,
I freaking hate her. or whatever she said.
Oh, Trudy.
Yeah, freaking hate Trudy.
Remember when I said this whole season is fetish fuel?
Oh yeah.
Give me
Ooh,
one.
big
No,
ass
no, no, no.
foot.
I want you to give me one solid reason as to why Quentin Tarantino did not. First off, didn't write this, but secondly, if Quentin Tarantino didn't write this, explain to me why Jake in the world, like in universe, would want Finn to be a foot.
Because he wants to be a foot himself.
He's a shapeshifter, Slug. He can
But it's
turn.
not the same. Did you not hear what he said?
He's full of it. He's
He
got a
wants
fat
to
footage.
just
He's got a
be
foot
the
fetish.
foot.
He's got a fat footage. He's got a foot fetish.
Apparently, remember when Jake said that Finn would understand when he's older? I guess maybe we're just not old enough yet.
I was old enough, and I realized. You're telling me to turn you guys on? Really? You guys? So, episode 21 is everyone's favorite. Donnie, August 9th, 2010.
Do we have to?
It's funny because when you look under, like, how many viewers this episode has, it says NA.
Oh,
Uh,
that's how it's just not entertaining.
I mean, my favorite line from the show was that, and eventually we'll get, we will be wiped out by the cosmic owl, but we'll have a pretty good run
Maybe
until
a
then.
sweet ride till then.
That was pretty funny, but
Something the Third Reich would probably say.
We will feast on the blood of the innocent. It's such a good quote.
I think every conqueror or every like invasion force has probably said, like, yeah, we're gonna like kill and take over everybody, and then eventually we'll die. But like it'll be pretty sweet till then.
Yeah.
it'll be pretty nice.
Like it's such a I don't know. I like the kind of like the ecology they build up, right? So Donnie is a grass ogre who emits this odor, and I relate to this on a personal level. He emits this body odor that keeps all the Y wolves away from the attacking the building people. But here's the thing, right? He emits the
Takes his
odor.
glasses off.
He emits the
Rubs his
odor
face.
because he's an asshole. And herein lies the crutch of the episode. It's wholly dependent on his assholery. You dig?
Yeah.
And that's just not fun to watch. It's like it's for the same reason Freak City wasn't fun because Magic Man's an asshole. It's immediately preceded by an episode where the concept is a guy who's being an asshole. I'm starting to get the impression that Ooh is not a very friendly or fun place to live. It's almost like it's a dark post-apocalyptic wasteland full of monsters. Do you start to get that impression?
Give me some Fallout vibes.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But if Donnie was in Fallout, I don't think I'd ever play it. Or I'd play it just to kill him.
Oh, he'd be dead.
Like, no matter the
It's
repercussions of that action, he'd
It's
be
on
dead.
site.
Yeah, like
Donnie is on site?
Yeah, Donnie. Fuck yeah, Donnie.
you go and you find him, and then you quick save.
Oh yeah,
as soon as
for
you find
sure.
them.
I'm gonna take care of this problem real quick.
Oh, is this the one where Jake's wearing the spider web or whatever spun by pixies?
Silk, yes.
The silk spun by pixies?
Yeah. I have pants woven by pixies.
When you have one. Next time I'm running around naked in public, that'll be my excuse. I'm going to quote Adventure Time on that one. Episode 22.
Not naked.
Henchman, August 23rd, 2010.
Season 2?
Season 1.
Oh, okay.
So we're on season 2?
Are we not done yet?
No, Season 1, 22, Henchman.
Henchman. More marshalling.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the one that really expands upon how vampires work. Vampires do not suck blood. They eat the color red. Blood just happens to be red, therefore that's something they can eat. But Marceline's such a fucking tease these first few seasons in multiple ways, but most importantly in the way she teases like Finn in particular.
No tongue.
No, first off, no tongue, but we haven't got there yet. But most importantly, she freaks Finn and Jake out by pretending that she's like an actual vampire that kills people.
Right.
The whole premise of this episode is having Finn be indentured to her and go around helping her like kill people. But and Jake dresses up like a strawberry, I guess, because it's red and attracts vampires. Because everyone knows strawberries attract vampires. And then he's dual wielding fucking stakes in his hand like he's some vampire slayer, like he's Van Helsing over here. The second Marceline looks at him, man is gone.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be found. But, like, if Finn was in actual danger, Jake would not have saved him.
No.
You recognize that, right? Like,
Yeah.
Jake was
There's a
gonna
few of
be
these episodes.
like, yeah, honestly, yeah. Where are we at? This is my personal. This is my number one episode of season 1, episode 23, Rainy Daydream, September 6, 2010.
Imagination.
It's you.
Don't you do it, man.
Oh, the invisible goblin, the
Yeah.
bazooka goblin.
Yeah.
Don't do it! Don't pull the trigger. Okay.
Okay.
So defeated. The whole premise that first off, there's a knife storm. Let's get that out of the way. There's a knife storm, and that's real. But everything else that happens in this episode, because everyone knows reality is kick butt, and imagination is for turbo nerds. I believe is the quote. But the entire episode isn't real. Like,
You're a
nothing.
turbo nerd.
Like nothing happens. Everything is within their heads. But like Finn's playing along from the very start. So even when he says that line, he's just playing around with Jake and the whole concept that you've done that, guys, right? Like you had entire adventures completely in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's you, babe.
What? Huh?
Do you have adventures in your head?
No, but I'm fucking tired.
That's fair.
oh, if you guys want, we could end at season 1. If you guys want to, but we're gonna move on from Rainy. Oh, real quick, something that shows up in Rainy Daydream is a green green fairy that shows up later in Ocarina, which is a season 6 episode with Kim Kawan, Jake's son. It's the same fairy, but it shows up in the imagination space in Finn's head. So I'm not really entirely sure what the implication is there. But episode 24, season 1, What Have You Done? September 13th, 2010.
What have you done?
This is the one where it's a very dark episode. Ice King is in jail. He's arrested by Finn and Jake.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I've seen this one the least.
His beard dandruff killed everybody.
Such a weird. It's such a like early Ice King. There's so many weird plot points. He can give life. His
He take life with his dandruff.
His dandruff can kill people. It's like the fucking bubonic plague. Starts killing half of the king of the kingdom. I don't know. I don't really. The only parts I remember are just two things specifically. The fact that the prison cell that Ice King is in has only half the bars. He can just leave whenever he wants, like a Norwegian prison. He can just leave whenever he wants. He's got the good life. But then he mentions the fact that they question him on where he got his crown. And it's this throwaway gag, and he mentions that he didn't steal the crown. He stole it from the guy that how does he word it? It's such a weird phrasing that's not true. You can tell at this point in the story they hadn't figured out where Ice King got the crown. The whole Simon Petrikov angle was not established yet. It's simply it's some funny throwaway line about how he stole the crown, and that's it. Or he took it from the guy who stole it, and that's it. It's this throwaway. And it's also implied that the crown is sentient because it cries tears at one point.
Yeah.
The lore is still not fleshed out yet, but that's a point. And it's really the only notable thing I can think of in this episode.
One point that we didn't talk about in the winter, the cold wedding episode, he talks about how the particular wedding and how it's set up and everything is the Ice Kingdom ceremony, and he's the only one who's ever been Ice King.
He just made up the rules.
Yeah.
It's an Ice Kingdom tradition. You're the only you're the only one with power here.
Yeah, literally, not only that, but the only guy there. Everybody else is just penguins.
Yeah.
Fucking
Penguins and snowmen.
Of course, you make up this really bizarre tradition. Let's see. Okay, Billy, he fought a bear. Episode 25. His hero, September 20th, 2010.
I remember when this came out. I was fucking laughing my ass off. I'll say it every time, man.
I was there, man.
I was there.
I was in the trenches.
Dude, my favorite I was there moment was when my Uncle Steven told me I was there when the Empire Stroked Back.
Speaking of stroke, is that a porno I'm unaware of? I've never heard of this one.
Or, I think that's how he worded it. I'm trying to remember how he worded it. He was like, when the Empire striked. He was there.
When the Empire Struck Back,
Yeah.
all their lightsabers are just fucking golf clubs. I'd watch it. Actually, that'd be a pretty good game. I'd play it. Where are we at? Yeah, 25 is hero. I don't know. Like, this is where the Lich gets introduced.
No tongue. Why does he... Like, I get it when Marceline says it, but when Billy says
I
it...
guess he means, like, don't talk back to me.
Yeah.
Like, don't talk no shit, I guess. But it's just so weird.
No tongue.
He's like this epic hero, but like he gets no accolades, no praise. Like Finn is like the quintessential hero of the show, but like they make it out where Billy's like the most legendary dude who's ever lived.
Yeah.
And it's like
He fought a bear.
like Finn fought a bear multiple times. Billy only fought one bear. Did we
Yeah,
know of?
but like Billy has a theme song for fighting a bear.
Finn's got a theme song. It's called the Adventure Time theme song.
For fighting a bear.
That's true. And he cast the Lich King down. First reference of him, and you get to. By the way, it should be noted that the Lich King's design is. Has anyone seen the Black Cauldron?
Yeah.
Yes.
Underrated, completely just underrated Disney film. Probably one of the best they ever made. It's a shame it never gets talked about.
They're
But
going to keep it in the dark.
yeah, the whole horned king aesthetic, and they took the design for the Horned King from the Black Cauldron, implemented it in Adventure Time and did a few tweaks. But it's the same design, and they wanted like a legitimate scary villain. And he works for the first few times, and he gets defeated like 8 times. So there's only so many times he can be scary. But that's I don't know. This hero, there's some good bits with the cobbler, who gets grayscale for those who've seen Game of Thrones. Gets what was it, armor skin? He starts like breathing dragon skin. He starts breathing fire.
The cobbler.
Yeah, the cobbler from town.
I'm a cobbler. Why would I need armor?
Who knows the best line from this episode? The one that's on posters and T-shirts. This is the one.
Oh shit.
Failing at something is the first step at getting kind of good at something. Quoted by Jake. And it's honestly probably my favorite quote. Maybe not the entire show, but it's definitely my favorite quote from the season.
Yes, for sure. It's definitely the best season 1 quote.
Yeah.
And then Billy's gone. Okay, after this episode, he disappears for quite a while. And I think that'd be a good episode to end on. But then we have episode 26, Gut Grinder, premiered September 27, 2010.
The gut grinder. I'm gonna wee wee.
That was pretty good.
That is. Good job, babe.
Again, I don't think this is a good finale episode.
No.
Moving forward, every finale feels like a conclusion. But keep in mind, at this point in the show's lifespan, this was it. They didn't know they were greenlit for another season. And this is true for at least the first 3 seasons. Moving forward, they did not know there was going to be a season 2. That's why they're very loose with continuity. The world building's kind of shoddy. They don't focus on it because they didn't know they'd have a chance to expand upon it. So when we get season 2, there's that expansion. Season 3, there's expand. Each subsequent season furthers plot points and character development, but in these early seasons, they were not guaranteed that. That's why season 1's like all over the place. Just see what sticks. So it could have been possible in some alternate timeline. Not just did Oswald actually kill JFK, unlike the CIA. There's also an alternate timeline in which the Gut Grinder was the series finale for Adventure Time. That's a possibility. This could
Those
have been,
pricks come back in another episode, right?
yeah, the spiky people,
Yeah.
Sharon and Karen.
Right?
Is that not a fair? Because they're cactuses.
Yeah, no, it's a fair
Like,
thing to call
I
us, but-
immediately knew who you're talking about. The Gut Grinder is some Scooby-Doo villain. And the reason it looks like Jake is because Sharon's the guy. Karen, the wife, the mayor's wife, the prick's wife, Karen, has a crush on Jake like every other animal in Adventure Time. Everyone's got a crush
We didn't
on
talk
Jake.
about the dolphin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every animal has this weird attraction to Jake. I mean, is he a stud? I mean, sure, but he's got a girlfriend, so it's kind of weird. But, like, Karen, for whatever reason, was sexually attracted to Jake, so decided to create this Scooby-Doo costume to steal gold.
Because I like shopping, and I think Jake's hot.
Is that not, like, a fair motivation?
I mean, it's not the worst one that I've heard.
She didn't kill anybody. She didn't really hurt anybody. She robbed her, like with D.B. Cooper. Those people robbed themselves. He never existed, just like the Gut Grinder. Karen robbed her own city because she likes shopping and Jake is hot. That's a fair motivation.
Fucking, I didn't mention it, but when Lumpy Space Princess gets turned into a robot cyborg in the Billy episode,
Yes.
so good.
Never gets brought up.
I wish if we had any section in season 1 that I would love to have a longer section for is that particular, just them trying to work out medicine and food and everything. Where like one, they try one occupation and they turned Lumpy Space Princess into like a Titan, like fucking transformer. And they tried cooking, and then they got the man to breathe fire out of his belly, and everybody had armor. Like I wish there was more sections of that them trying to go through different occupations.
Yeah, I liked them as cobblers, mostly because they didn't know what that was.
They made shoes with a blade in it. And dude's like, "What am I doing with this?"
Oh, that was the widow, right?
Yeah,
She was going to her husband's funeral
yeah.
or some friend's funeral. She goes with a blade in her shoe. You don't know.
You don't know.
Honestly, you don't know when that might be practical. But I got one question for y'all. What time is it?
Adventure time.
It's 12:13.
I mean, yeah, it's time to wrap up. So we're gonna finish with season 1.
I feel like with these cartoon kind of series, deep dives, kind of want to keep them kind of tight and just like that's it. So like if the episode's only like 2 hours, that's just exclusively talking about that series.
No,
Keep them short and sweet.
we're not going to be talking about Adventure Time every week because we kind of missed the ball on leading up to Fiona and Cake. But trust me, we're definitely going to review every season, our thoughts on it, try to do it in a speedy and efficient manner. Maybe crack a few jokes here and there, derail ourselves for about an hour, and then get back on track. Like as we tend to do. But next week will be a completely different affair. Not as lighthearted. But we'll definitely see you there. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I've been your host, Chandler Allen Berry. And here's Slug. Here's Moxie.
Hi.
And here's Willow. And we love you. Guys, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Peace.